Beware, Banner Lord. You now enter the realm of the great Bobo Khan, a legend of the steppe who, through a combination of love of history and video game addiction, has evolved into the ultimate Banner Lord Prime. Many moons ago, a young Bobo discovered his passion for military strategy in one of the first great medieval strategy games, Lords of the Realm. The fusion of grand strategy, kingdom management, and real-time warfare ignited an eternal flame within the young Khan's heart. As the years marched on, so too did a growing host of new realms to conquer. Lords of the Realm 2, Age of Empire, Age of Empires 2, Shogun Total War, Stronghold, Medieval Total War, Rome Total War, Medieval 2, Shogun 2, and then came Total War, Rome 2. It was here that Emperor Nero's descent into glorious degeneracy was complete. Untold hours vanished as he conquered the ancient world, leading his unstoppable legions to victory after victory until every rival bowed before Rome. But even the greatest conquerors cannot wage war forever. With his empires forged and his bloodlust sated, the great Khan entered a brief age of peace. Yet peace was fleeting. Across the endless steppe, the great steam Skyfather called out, summoning the Khan to his destiny. Season after season, the spirits of summer sail and winter sail whispered a single name upon the wind. Mountain Blade Warband. For a time, the Khan resisted their call. But when the price fell to a mere $10, he reasoned, surely it couldn't hurt to try. And as he clicked that bright green purchase button, the spirits cackled with wicked delight, for they knew what the Khan did not. His fate had been sealed. It took only a handful of Swadian nights for the Mountain Blade fever to take hold. The Khan's playtime exploded, and before long, the lovely Red, wife of the Khan, grew gravely concerned for his well-being. He could scarcely summon the willpower to pull himself away from Calradia, where every passing hour promised one more tournament, one more battle, one more thief to claim. Amidst this storm of gaming mania, the Khan discovered the fabled Floris mod pack, a dark creation that drove him even deeper into no-life madness. Noble Swadians, rugged Rodoks, fearsome Nords, vicious Vagars, and sinister Saranids all left their mark upon Bobo. Yet one faction stood above them all. It was upon the vast steppe of the mighty Khuzait that the Khan found his home. There, beneath endless skies, he and his growing war band thundered across the grasslands as Dan Carlin's Wrath of the Khans echoed through his headphones, creating a symphony of dopamine in the young warlord's mind. In that moment, Mountain Blade was forever branded upon his soul. And now you arrive, young Banner Lord. chosen by fate to be trained by the one who stood at the dawn of the military strategy genre and conquered his way through the ages, rising at last to become the great Bobo Khan. The stench of lesser factions surrounds you, but fear not. You shall be forged into a mighty warrior of the steppe. Ride with your Khan, Banner Bros, and together we shall forge a glorious destiny for our people. One that shall burn within the eternal flame of history. Let us begin. And here he is, the coolest cat in all Calradia, Bobo Khan. I hope you boys are ready. We got a lot to talk about, and this is exciting. Because now we're playing for the home team, and this is my boys right here. We'll just take it from the top, and we'll start with gearing your Khan. So you can see right here, this is my favorite setup in all the game. I love this Khan's coat of plates. It's got the metal, it's got the fur, makes him look like a big badass Khan teddy bear. Just want to squeeze him. Coming from the top, the furred helmet to match the rest of the getup, the lamellar shoulders, the Khan's plated braces, you know the setup. We got the fur rims here, we got the fur rim up top, bringing it all the way down into the reinforced suede boots. It's brown, it's rugged, it's manly, so badass. For the mount, I'm always riding that Azalagat. When you marry a Khuzait honey, she often comes with one of these mounts, and the best thing to do is check her civilian outfit because very often she comes with two of them. She's got one as a civilian and for battle, and she doesn't need one as a civilian. So that one's yours. That's your wedding present. And that was the case here. That's how I got mine. And then, of course, we're going to throw that sexy lamellar barding on him, too. He's got the brown and the plates. We got the brown and the plates. We get together, and we look like a dynamic duo tearing it up on the steppe. It's epic and awesome. Love it so much. I mean, look how badass this armor is. I love it. I love it. I love it. When we get into weaponry, it's the noble bow for me every time. I've heard people make arguments for the longbow. There is no argument for the longbow. It takes longer to fire, and that just goes against everything we're trying to do with our horse archery. We want to spit out as many arrows as we can, as quickly as possible. Plenty of damage on this thing, especially once you get your bow leveled up. There's no reason to use the longbow. The regular noble bow is where it's at. If you can get a legendary version, that's fine, but don't sweat it. Balanced, masterwork, legendary, whatever. They're all good, and they're all going to serve you just fine. The big argument here, and where I get kind of funky with my builds, is what do you want to do for your melee weapon? The best thing about the Longglaive is it's so long at that 206 reach that even when you encounter spearmen on the battlefield and they try to thrust attack you with their spear, you can stay out of their range and still hit them with your glaive. And that reach also is wonderful in cavalry fights where you need to just reach around and knock guys off their mounts. The damage is so high. What do we got here on the two-handed? 189 cut. I mean, it's cutting through everybody. Doesn't matter if they're armored or not. You put a few points in polearm and you're chopping down everybody. The big issue here is that you'll see the swing speed is not very good at all. There are times when if your mount gets knocked out from underneath you, or you're in a hideout battle, or there's just times when you're in an up close melee battle, and this thing is awful up close. A nice compromise then is to use the glaive that all the Khan guards use. It's a lot shorter, just the regular glaive. You'll see its length comes down to 152, but it still does a lot of damage at 142 cut. It's still cleaving people down. And so then this kind of feels like a really long two-hander. The swing speed at 83 is a great improvement. You'll notice you can get around on this thing a lot better. So it's shorter, still does a ton of damage, like I said, it feels like an extremely long two-hander. Now, here's the new thing I've been doing, and I didn't do it for this guide because I want you to use the glaives. If you've never tried the glaives before, you need to try them. Truly, this long glaive is fantastic. It has wonderful thrust damage, 47 pierce. That's up there with some of the top lances in the game. You can swing it wide, and it'll keep you safe, and it'll just cleave your enemies down. But if you've done the Khuzait playthrough and you've done the glaives before and you're wanting to change it up, another great weapon that I really like to use, and is actually a very lawful weapon to use for your Khuzait Khan, is a two-handed mace. Yeah, the Mongols used maces, especially amongst the nobles. As they pushed west and encountered heavier armors, they began using them more and more. So I looked it up. It's all legit. Now, I don't know if they used like a big two-handed round mace. They had kind of their own little contraptions, and they used a lot of one-handed flanged maces. But I think if your Khan wants to carry around a big old beat stick, that could be kind of cool. There's some really cool options in smithing, but smithing ruins the game, so tread carefully. I think a fun one to try might be one of those Southern Azurai maces. I think they have something like 131 reach. That's going to get you a little bit shorter than this glaive here. And I have to say, I think adding the knockdown to the maces has made them one of the most fun weapons in the game. I mean, just ragdolling dudes off of their mounts with your big club is epic. If you don't like the glaive because it's too long and too unwieldy, you try the other glaive and you're like, it's okay, but it kind of just feels like a lesser version of an axe. Hey, go ahead, take them both off, and go find you a big old beat stick and throw that on there. I think I'm going to try that in my playthrough. I'm going to do this guide, and then I'm going to do a playthrough where I conquer the steppe and show you how it's done. Bobo Khan style, baby. And that's what we're going to do. For this whole playthrough, I've used a glaive, and I use these on my companions. I don't like to give these glaives to my companions because they tend to be the ones that are going up the ladders, and they get in a little more up-close battles. And this glaive, the nice thing about this regular glaive is you can use it in regular melee battles, and it doesn't feel too awkward. This long glaive is a disaster. You can do it, but it's a disaster. The regular glaive is going to be much better if you got to get up close. But I think a two-handed axe or a two-handed mace in particular could be a lot of fun as well. The truth is, when it comes to weapons, you should be using your blaster 90% of the time. By the time I get done using up my 82 legendary stacked steppe arrows, usually the battle's pretty wrapped up because I've shot all my arrows. My horse archers have shot all their arrows, and we're down to the chaff now, and it's just harvest time. So when you need to just start chopping down a bunch of low-level shit, you don't need this legendary glaive. But if you got to fight a bunch of cavalry and things like that, this thing is incredible. You'll notice with this whole build, what are we looking at here? We're looking at a bunch of firepower. We're a bunch of kick-ass. You don't see a big shield where I'm going to hide behind. Okay, I'm pumping with the bow. I'm chopping with the glaive. This isn't some weenie man playthrough where we hunker behind a shield wall and all that stuff. We're out here on the steppe where the men roam. Enough with the shields for a little bit. Jeez, you guys, you shield wall sluts. And your shield. Unreal. And so we come down here with a banner that gives us even more accuracy while we're running around plugging away and gives our guys more accuracy. The other argument that you could make, you've already got enough firepower going out, and a little less accuracy penalty, although 8% is something, maybe doesn't make as big a difference. It might be better to come in here and give yourself a little defense against your number one threat. We're in the age of Warsails. We've got Nord archers that are amazing. We've got Imperial Nates throwing javelins out everywhere. We're shooting shit through the air. They're throwing shit in the air. Shit is flying through the air. So a reduction in ranged attack damage can be very nice for a bunch of badasses that aren't wielding shields. On top of that, you can come into the bow skill here and give them a further 10% damage reduction from projectiles by ranged troops, which would give you a 25% reduction in total, which is nice. At the end of the day, Bobo Khan loves boom boom. So I go with the 8% penalty reduction most of the time and I really haven't tried this out as much. When we talk about builds, we'll discuss it a little more. There's some things I've been thinking about. You guys know how I get about my builds. I get to thinking it's not good. One thing to note is you're looking at this sexy battle gear, and it's awesome, and it's just incredible. I love, love, love my Bobo Khan so much. But you're not just going to need battle gear for this playthrough. You're also going to need a decent civilian outfit, because this is what we're going to be fighting in to secure our allies. Now, at this stage in the game, when Bobo Khan's conquered a lot, you want to know why I don't get videos out very fast? Because I'm too busy playing Bannerlord. I've been conquering, folks. You can know that. But when you go to set up alleys and you're doing a lot of fighting in towns and back streets, you're going to need some civilian gear. When you come in here, you can see, let's see, what's the piece that I usually wear? We'll come into armor. Where's that mirrored? Here it is, this reinforced mirrored armor. You can find these a lot with their legendary or whatever. You get you a battle set of this. And then you're going to put on, there's some leather van braces. Here they are, right there. Get you some legendary van braces, some stuff. Maybe get you a little hat to put on, because you're going to be getting down in the alleys, and sometimes you're outnumbered. And you don't get to fall back on all your elite gear. You got to do it raw with your saber. So make sure you got a good sword, you got some good armor, civilian armor. But then once, it's time for people to come kiss the ring and you're Great Khan, I'm not really doing that so much anymore. So now it's about looking slick. And look at these slick boots I got off this Nord that I crushed. I cracked this whole Nord army of North. I'll show you. And I got these awesome strapjack boots. Don't they look, what am I telling you? The fur, huh? A big Khan teddy bear? Oh, you wish you could squeeze them. We're going to need a great set of stealth gear. And to be honest, I get rid of the rock. I just put it on there because I was tired of having it in my inventory right here. Light bodkins, 2 sets of them. When it comes to a bow that you can use in stealth, you can't use the noble bows. You'll see most of the bows are blacked out, but this heavy recurve, here's a balanced one. You really want to get a masterwork or legendaries, and then you throw on these light bodkin arrows, and this makes clearing hideouts a breeze. You get a ton of bros, you get a ton of goods, you level your roguery, your bow, you level your athletics. There's so many benefits to clearing hideouts, and it's super easy with a good bow. And once you get your bow leveled up, which you'll do very quickly, clearing hideouts. So it's a beautiful positive feedback loop that makes that early game a dream. Plus, Bobo Khan is the master rogue, you know that. And sticking with the fur, you can see this legendary fur helmet. You can use this in stealth mode. You can also just go with the blackened hood, but y'all know Bobo Khan. He loves that fur. Gotta have it. Gotta have it in my battle clothes. Gotta have it in my rogue outfit. Gotta have it in my civilian outfit. I don't like to be cold. I like to be nice and warm and cuddly. And that's what he is right here. He's a little snack pack. But you'll need all 3 sets. Civilian outfits for alley fight. You'll need battle gear for kicking ass in the field. And you'll need stealth outfits for clearing hideouts. And you're going to need all this gear. It's a lot of money you're going to need. So pay attention when you hit the towns. Make sure you sort by name here and take a peek at the legendary stuff that's on sale. Because like this piece right here, this is very good armor to get for 4K. To throw on some of your guys, and keep a very good lookout for legendary bows. Build your Khan however you want, but this is how I do it almost every time, riding around with this epic drip, blasting dudes. Okay, we got the gear settled now. Let's talk builds. Got to be careful here because we're getting into my real passion, talking builds, and I could go for 30 hours. I'll try to keep it quick, but no promises. The big things here are the combinations. So we get that combination of mounted patrols with keen sight, which gives us 100% chance of lords not escaping our party. We capture lords, we hold on to them. They can't go form big armies for their faction. We can turn them in for reputation. There's just a lot of good reasons to hang on to lords. Remember, these bonuses do not apply on the water. The second you hit the water, these guys start jumping overboard and swimming to shore. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it is what it is. The most important combination with this entire build is being able to take Steppe Bandits here, just recruit them directly into your party, and then convert them into Khan's Guard with Veterans Respect. There are Steppe Bandits everywhere out here. Here's a hideout full of them. It's so easy to fall back into your territory and just grab a bunch of these guys and convert them over. You're going to spend the entire early game running around, clearing out hideouts, collecting these Steppe Bandit raiders by the dozens, and you just recruit them into your party and fight with them because it's free refills. It doesn't matter if they die, you can always go get some more, and they're very effective units, especially once you buff them up with all of your captain's perks. Then you're going to eventually level up your leadership till you hit right here, Veterans Respect, and then you got a nice full stack of these guys. What I got, 49 of them here, and I can convert them right over to the Keshig. Okay, so we just hit that, bam. I got 49 guys on their way to become Khan's Guard. Whenever I go get more of them, like, oh, I don't know, in this hideout right here, the best part about it is they already come with the war mount. So it's a guy you can level up to an elite horse archer, saves you having to find the guy and saves you from having to buy the war mount. That combination is very powerful, especially when, remember now in Warsails 1.4.6 or whatever it is, you cannot recruit from enemy villages. So if you're at war with the Khuzait, which I was here for some extended period of time, until you get enough fiefs in here that you can really start recruiting, a great way to replenish the casualties you take during the Civil War is to grab Steppe Bandits and then use that combination to convert them over to elite troops. And that's how you're going to keep your armies fed during the hard times. Obviously, we want that bow skill all the way leveled up every time. I never compromise. I want 7, not 5, 7. I've made the argument before that you could just go 5 and get everything but the last perk. But the truth is, this Master Blaster here, Deadshot, just makes you a dominating force on the battlefield. And you are just incredible. I will say, I don't think you need to go 10 here. Of course, some people just like to be animals. But the difference between 288 and 330 when it comes to bow damage, I don't think is that insane. Plus, at this point already, you'll see in the battles, I'm damn near one-shotting everything. And even if I don't one-shot, whatever I hit is damn near dead. So I just don't think it's worth it. I think you greatly nerf your build by going 10 in control. I get that it's fun and it's kind of cool to be 30, whatever, but I don't know. It's not something like athletics where you're going to get a ton more hit points all the way up. It's just the extra damage, like I said, from 288 to 330, whatever, 330 I think is what it is. I just don't think it's worth it at all. Most certainly not for 3 attribute points. There's just way better places to put them. I came into Polearm because it makes you get around on this long glaive a lot better, and the bonuses make it even more lethal. But the truth is, this is just excessive. And really, the weapon speed is really the best part of it. The extra damage you don't even need at all. Polearm is excellent, and if you're going to go Polearm, then make sure you get it. The best way to level these up is I use my bow until I'm out of arrows, until it's all the way leveled up. And then I use my bow for most of the battle until it's mop-up duty. And if you just bust out your glaive for mop-up duty, you're going to level up very fast. I will say, I do want to give the glaive a shout-out for naval battles, okay? Because chopping shit off that rope bridge, you can just stand back and really reach there in the back. So the polearms are, I think, a lot better in naval battles than people give them credit for. And it levels very quickly. That's another nice thing because of the amount of damage you do. But don't be afraid to slide over here and grab some two-handed. And honestly, don't be afraid to grab a nice one-hander. A nice star falchion or something. You get a legendary one with some nice chop on it. You could go with the one-hander. The nice thing about the one-hander is that you don't have this big-ass stick sticking out over your back blocking your shooting reticle. It's a real problem sometimes. So that can be a nice benefit. And like I said, you're pretty much just using your melee weapon for mop-up duty. So whether it's a one-hander, two-hander, or polearm, feel free to use whatever you want. They all fit. That's kind of the fun thing about building out your Khan, is that it all works. Have fun. That's what I'm telling you. Have fun. But have fun with maxed out bow skill. Now, let's have a honest conversation about endurance. When you start the game, right here, just a Bannerlord in a dream, you come into my character build, what do you notice? Only 2 in endurance. Make sure when you build your character, in my opinion, you do not want more than 2 in endurance. You will pick up a 3rd endurance trait right here at durable, which you can get to with 2 and 5. And you will level this very quickly along with your bow skill as you're clearing hideouts. In field battles, you're on horseback, you'll be leveling up your riding, and in hideouts, you're leveling up your athletics, and they'll both level very quickly. I wish everything leveled as quickly as these skills, honestly. I think they should. We'll talk more about that in a sec. The reason you only need 2 in endurance is you can see if I max it out with 5 focus, I'm just short of mounted patrols. But once you throw on this durable attribute, that will push you over to getting mounted patrols. The extra armor to all the mounted armor pieces, armored troops, is a cool perk to have. But I will argue that Khonsguard don't really need it. They're so elite. They fire their bows from so far away, and this will save maybe a couple guys. But to be honest, they're pretty easy to replace as you get into the later game. So these bonuses are nice. I mean, it's a nice concept, but they don't really need it. And like I told you, I'm focusing on damage, folks. You hear me? Fire, power. Enough with all the defensive armor, shield wall bullshit. We're blasting motherfuckers. And that's what we want to do. But we want to hang on to the guys that we blast. So when you start your build, whatever options you pick, I mean, this is how my guy ended up. I grabbed a lot in social because I like to get this veterans perk going up pretty quick. But, you know, the first things I usually come into are riding and bow skill. One thing to note about riding is, look right here. You start with low riding. This was actually a patch that they put in a long time ago. But when you have low riding skill, you have a mounted weapon penalty damage and speed and reload penalty. 30%, 20% off your damage and 30% off your speed and reload penalty for being low in riding, which is why it's important when you fight your early battles, don't dismount. You want to level your riding and your bow skill at the same time. I think once you get to 100, I think is what all it takes to get these penalties fully removed. But your riding skill does affect your mounted weapon damage and penalties. So 2 in endurance, I think, is all you need. You pick up the extra 1 from athletics and you're good. This is all the riding you're going to need. Way of the saddle, you don't need this. You should not be charging through and smashing guys. When you do occasionally charge them and hit them, you're going to do enough damage, all right? It doesn't matter. Okay, this is about precision, agility, and lethality, not being a big Mongo on a horse. Okay, let's have this conversation. The scouting's maxed out. I love a lot of the scouting perks, the extra travel speed here. Here, because I have a 100% cavalry army, I get an extra 10% sight range. You can see my spotting distance is up 17%. I can see from a miles away what's coming at me, which is very nice. There's some fun perks in here. Beast Whisperer, you catch an extra horse every once in a while. Sometimes it's just a sumpter horse, but sometimes you get a really nice rare mount. I love perks like this. They're just fun. And of course, that keen sight helping us keep the Lord prisoners on lock. Extra 20% recovery while in an army. Okay, not so bad where you get those big nasty battles. Right here though, uncanny insight. I'll just show you something. It's right here, 0.21. That's what it equals, 0.21 speed. You can see that in my horse archer party, I already get a plus 0.75. So with uncanny insight, I get almost an extra full 1 point of speed. But without it, I still get 0.75. I don't know, and this is just me thinking out loud. You tell me what you think. I don't know that 7 attribute points is worth 0.21 speed, especially on a playthrough where I'm running horse archer armies and my parties are all cavalry anyway. We're already faster than everything on the map. So it's like putting nitrous on the fastest car at the race. So then I start to think, well, it's kind of a situation like riding where I really only need 232 here, 3 and 5, because that would get me up over the Keen Sight perk. But what about roguery? Well, look here. My roguery is at 261, which means that even with running 2 alleys most of the game, doing countless numbers of hideouts, probably 20 or 30 different hideouts I've done this playthrough, on top of fighting with bandit troops, which I did for a very good portion of the early and mid game, all of that, and I'm still here at 261. I still haven't got Rogue Extraordinaire, which is going to give me a bunch of extra loot, but I'm already getting plus 65%. And more importantly, by the time it does level up, guess what? I've already bought all the legendary gear for me, my clan members. I've paid for caravans. I've bought all the upgrades. I mean, I've paid for everything. I've bought clans. I've united all the clans, and I've got vassals now. I mean, I have already shelled out millions of dinar. So by the time I get this Rogue Extraordinaire, by the time it unlocks, it's not going to be worth it. Right? It's like, why? I don't need it now. And yeah, I can convert it over to XP with my steward, but I don't need XP. All my towns are creating regular horse archers, and my castle down here at Akizer Castle, it's producing me Khonsguard. And so I just grab a bunch of horse archers from Chaiken, and then I grab a bunch of Khonsguard from here, and I fill up my parties, and we go kick ass. And so my argument is that roguery just levels entirely too slow. It's weird because you can get it up very quickly to like 100 or 200, but then after that, it's hard to keep leveling, especially, you guys know this. I mean, you can get a lot of roguery from ransoming lords, but you don't want to ransom lords, especially when you first start a kingdom and you capture them. You want to hold on to them because it cripples their ability to put armies together against you. And so you don't want to ransom lords a lot of the time. Plus, it's nice to turn them in for reputation with guys. There's just a lot of things you can do with them other than sell them. And at some point, that's much more important to you than the money you're going to get from selling them. You can sell the regular troops, but they don't sell for near as much. I do like to have the extra battle loot. I think it's a wonderful part of the game, but there gets to be a point, let's be honest, that the fiefs start coming in, and look at my settlement income. And so I feel about roguery like I feel about scouting. I truly think just use the 3 attribute points for cunning, get your Keen Sight perk, and then go ahead and throw some focus points in here because the extra loot is nice, and you do want this Partners in Crime ability. This is insane. You find a big stack of 20, 30 Steppe bandits, you charge into them, they surrender, you can pull them right into your party. Don't even have to take them prisoner. Just, hey guys, join the team. And by running a couple alleys, you can get this very early, which is really nice because that's when it means the most, is in the early game. This just feels like one of those trees to me that levels a little too slowly. And we have them. The same with Shipmaster. It sounds great to provide your figurehead bonus to all allied ships, especially since my Khan here, he has the Hawk figurehead. 15% increased accuracy from ranged units. Applying that to all of my ships full of ranged units would be amazing. But by the time you finally unlock this in the game, you've conquered the map because it levels so slowly. It's like your guy doesn't get any of these good perks until he's damn near 40. And it just doesn't make any sense. And plus, I have an issue with having to level to get the ability to level it some more. It seems like once you unlock this, it should fill up very quickly to me. But that's another video. So all that to say, in summary, I don't think you need 7 in cunning at all, especially not with this horse archer army. I think you do 3 in cunning and then go 5 and 5, and that's plenty. I love the roguery. I love Partners in Crime for this build, like I talked about with that synergy with Veterans Respect. Gotta have it. Got to have it. But feel free to save yourself 4 attribute points and just go with 3 here in cunning. Social, I love it. First off, you know how charming Bobo Khan is already, so it's lawful for me to have this level of charm. Secondly, leadership, unreal. A whole extra clan party. You get this Veterans Respect perk. And then here at the end, you get a whole bunch more guides. What's my personal party out here right now? 438. It's also, once you max it out, a great place to dump the extra attribute points you get if you decide to play into the late game, because every time you dump an attribute point in here and every time you get another skill point, it's another guy you can bring into your army. Trade is fine. I don't do any concentrated trade. I'm a rogue. I steal and thieve and work my way up from the back alleys to being Khan of all the steppe. So I don't do a lot of trading, but having the extra 15% price penalty on selling equipment, and eventually with roguery, you unlock another 20% here. And then the extra 30% carrying capacity is very nice. The very last skill I've put points in here is engineering, just because in the late game, you are doing a ton of sieging with my own personal party. And I like to save it for the last skill that I get because it feels thematic for me. Every time I talk about engineering, I say, I wish the Khuzaites didn't have access to really good siege weapons, just battering rams. That's it. No siege towers or anything. Maybe Monchug, the faction leader, should have siege towers, but I wish there were certain factions that didn't have access to all the siege equipment, at least from the start of the game. And people always argue, well, the Mongols actually did get Chinese. Yeah, I know they did eventually. But when they started out, they weren't good at sieges, and they slowly got better at them. And so that's what I like to do here at the end. With 2 and 5, it's going to get you all the way up, except for the last 3 perks. Plenty good for a Khuzait warlord, because to me, the Khuzait should not be master engineers. Now, if you want to hire a master engineer and acquire the technology, that would be cool. But I really hope engineering gets an overhaul at some point. But there's so much shit that needs work in this game, it's hard to know where to start. Still an amazing game. Still have a blast playing it. Every time I say something negative, people just take it all the way down. But it's a game without peer, but with some TLC, it could just be horrifying. And then here's my big mistake. Forget the mistake up here at Cunning with putting too much in. At least there's some payoff. This was the dumbest shit I've ever done. Of course, I wanted this 50% armor pin, but the truth is, I just skipped the Warsails for the most part. It's not that you can't run around on the water and kick ass with your horse archers. You actually can. They're devastating. And we'll go through setting it up because it is the age of Warsails, and you will be on the water from time to time. It's just the fastest way to travel sometimes. But that's pretty much all I used it for. And what's funny is by the time I unlocked this perk, I don't think I ever used it again. And just all these perks that you get in here, you don't need them. It's fun to have this stuff in case you want to do a playthrough of like some guy that isn't a horse archer. And he's maybe he was bringing the Khuzait into modernity, and he's an elite Khuzait pirate. So it's fun to have this stuff. But for this playthrough, and specifically, it was just a complete waste. I should have spent these focus points literally anywhere else. Tactics, two-handed, build up trade. I don't know. Anything else would have been preferable. I call this the 777s build. You go 7, 7, and 7, but you don't need to go 7. So maybe just go 7 and 10. I mean, I don't know what you want to do. You guys know me. I spend way too much time obsessing about this stuff. But I'm working on a brand new Bobo Khan build, and I'm going to use it during the playthrough, and I'm really fine-tuning this thing up. I mean, I've spent a really unhealthy amount of time thinking it out, but it's going to be epic, and I think you're going to really like it. So stay tuned for the video after this. This is a very good place to start from. Maybe consider the cunning, but the leadership is outstanding. The bow blasting, outstanding. And I think you're good here. 3 and 3 here, and then do whatever else you want. You could come into Vigor and go 5 in Vigor, right? And then remember, 5 and 5 and two-handed if you want to grab that big mace. 5 and 5 will get you over 250. I think it gets you to 260 something. So you're good. You could max out two-handed by saving the points from Cunning and coming up here to Vigor if you wanted to do something like that. So there's some fun options and ways to build around it, but this build right here will work. It's a lot of fun, but if you're going to get your roguery up, you're going to have to really work at it, especially at the higher levels. You're going to have to run like 3 alleys and really take your time in the mid game to just raid villages and caravans non-freaking stop. There's a lot of fun ways to build your con. have fun. That's always my number one rule. But when it all boils down to it, I like to have max bow skill. I think you're plenty good with the riding here, but what you really want is you want the combo of mounted patrols and keen sight, and then partners in crime with veterans respect. And remember, one of the first focus points you should always spend is right here in medicine to unlock these first 2 perks, because these are huge quality of life, just unbelievable quality of life improvements throughout your campaign, especially when you're going to be running around without a shield, right? It's not so bad once you've got this elite armor, but until then, you're going to take some lumps. Like I said, there's a lot of shit flying through the air these days, so make sure you pick up these 2 perks. They're great. But max bow skill, make sure you get your combos, and then after that, have a ball. Anytime I'm doing a Khuzait playthrough, I'm looking to build a massive horse archer horde every time. And here's the backbone of that horde, the Khuzait Heavy Horse Archer. One of the best units in the game. I love this guy. He's got pretty good armor, especially in the hands and arms. You couple up this lamellar shoulders with the plated van braces, and the arms get hit a lot. You don't appreciate how much the arms get hit until you really take the time and look at your troops at the end of a battle. But you'll see they've got stickers sticking all out of them. And this guy, he can take quite a few ranged attacks. And if you give him the right buffs on top of that, he can take even more. So his armor holds up pretty well under fire. And of course, his horse does as well. And this is another thing I want to say. You don't have shields, but you'll be surprised how much your horses will absorb. I mean, I don't know how much they would do in real life if they would take shots like that, but it's a video game. And in this game, the horses actually absorb quite a bit of rounds. And most importantly, they keep your guy moving. So you give him this armor and this armored horse, and you put him in motion, and they're pretty defensive. They last pretty well. He's got this step recurve bow, 52 pierce, not bad. 2 stacks of step arrows, and I just love the way the step arrows look with the quivers and everything. They're just so awesome. I just love the Khuzait theme. And to be fair, that's one of the things I love about Bannerlord and playing all these factions. Every time I'm in a faction, I just get so immersed, whether it's the snow and wooden fiefs of Sturgia or the clay and the sands down there with the Azurai. Over in Vlandia, you got the green hills and the castles. I love the cultures and how different the art is and how immersive this game is. So fantastic. And these step arrows are no exception to that. I think they just look awesome. And then he's got this fine steel saber for when things get personal. 107 length is nice. He can reach out from his horse and really touch somebody. And what I really like about it is that 88 swing speed lets him get around, I get around on his fine steel saber. Fantastic unit. You look at his stats, and his bow skill's only 130. Right here, you give an extra 20 bow skill to troops in your formation. And then down here at Horsemaster, an extra 30 bow skill to horse archers in your formation. So you throw those perks, including, don't forget, that ranged penalty reduction banner, and these guys get pretty accurate while they're storming around. They get lethal. Even if they don't one-shot, it's not about one-shot. It's about having 438 guys, and actually when I pull the whole clan together, it's more like 1,000 of these guys running around, pumping out the damage. One thing I want to point out is that you'll see that you get the nomad here, and you need that horse to get them up to a tribal warrior, which makes this perk right here in leadership, combat tips, one of the most powerful perks in the game for the Khuzait, because you'll see at the bottom there, troop tiers when recruiting from the same culture +1. So when you go to recruit here, you'll find guys that are already on a mount, which is going to save you from having to level them up here. So the faster you can get that perk, I'll tell you, go ahead and throw at least 1 skill point in leadership so that you can get this combat tips, because this is the sooner you get this, the better. One thing about horse archers is until they get up to about tier 4, they kind of suck. The raider is okay for the early game, and this is where I kind of keep them until I get on a merc contract. Plus, I like to play that kind of nomadic, poor. I don't like to have elite armored horse archers from the start. I don't think that's fun. I like to build, I like an escalation of power. So this is where I usually stay during the early game. But they're not that good, and they die a lot. Even on caravan battles, anything that's got cavalry or other horse archers, these guys are going to get blasted. They don't have great armor. You'll see their bow skill is 70, their riding is 70. They're just not that great. But as they come up and they start breaking 100 on each, they get a lot better. But they really do not shine. This is one of those units that really doesn't shine until it's maxed out. The drop off from tier 5 down to tier 3 is incredible. I mean, it's unreal. So you're going to want to push them up to tier 5 sooner rather than later in your campaign. I say once you're on a merc contract, you may just want to go ahead and push them up because you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck. And the problem is that when these guys die, then until you've got all the perks and ability to recruit them at this tier here, you got to go get a nomad. You got to fight them against, I hope they don't die. And then you got to buy them a horse. So in the end, it can just be better to max them out, and it'll save you a lot of money because once they get to this point, they're a lot better at killing. They're a lot better at surviving. And you're not just going to have to go keep buying horses and leveling up guys to die over and over. Probably one of the considerations to make. And, you know, it's a fun theme because your guys are out, you guys are fighting, you're having some success, you take down some caravans, you make some money, and you're like, oh shit, we're going to have to get some better armor if we're going to have to start fighting, taking down these caravans and stuff. So there's some lore to it. You can play it in a loreful way. And I just say, always stay away from the Khan's Guard, no nobles until noble. And I like to even have caps on the Khan's Guard. You know, I wish there was caps on the Khan's Guard. The problem is, at this stage in the game, what happens is an enemy army crushes one of my other armies, and then I go I go kill it and rescue all my guys. And then in the prisoners and the guys you can recruit, there's like 30 Khan's Guard you can just pull over. So I'm like, all right, just pull them over. But I actually try to keep it a little bit balanced. I mean, you can still see I have 103 horse archers here. I'm a little heavy on Khan's Guard, but I do like to keep it balanced. Another honorable mention I'll make here in the troop tree. This heavy lancer, he's awesome. And he's tanky as hell. He's ballsy as hell. And what I love to have, honestly, you only need like 30 to 50 of these guys. And you get your little death circle going, right? You're shooting arrows from everywhere. And then once you're kind of got the enemy spinning, you send these guys in and they go charging into those clumps of dudes. And what happens is all those dudes that are facing out now turn to stab this guy while he's in there. And now you're filling up their backs full of arrows. And they just do a good job of running around causing mayhem and lancing shit. Well, I mean, this is what you want to create is a battlefield of terror where there's arrows flying through the air. Lancers are running around, lancing shit down. The problem is, it's just that overwhelmingly cavalry suck right now. And I couldn't in good conscience say that it's better to have one of these guys than just having another horse archer. And most certainly these guys over another Khan's Guard, they just don't. So they're fun to use. I like having them in my army and I take them when I can get them. But cavalry is just awful right now. I think I saw someone made a suggestion in the comments and I agree with it, that they just need more charge damage. Just them ramming into shit needs to do more damage because, you know, they're always like, we fixed them. They got better targeting and all this shit. But it's like, no, they're just not. They're just not that lethal. You can charge your cavalry into a whole thing of archers and the archers will decimate them. Now that's a two-sided problem. First off, ranged units are completely overpowered and the armor pen capabilities of ranged units in this game are just over the top. And cavalry is also it's just not that good right now. If you get yourself some heavy lancers or you rescue some like I do a lot, I'm happy to have these guys in my armies. I just wouldn't send them in until you've kind of got it handled because they go charging right into that infantry line and get burned down pretty quick. The marksman is a unit I hate. I wish they would completely remove it from the roster. First off, he shames his father for not being mounted. And let's just look here. He's got 130 bow skill. He's got the same recurve bow that the horse archer has. He's got the same arrows, and basically the same saber. He's actually a little less armored in some places than the horse archer. And here's the kick. No horse, less armor, same bow skill. And guess what? Look at the price on my man here. 12 daily wage. 12 daily wage. Are you kidding me? Same price, same skill, everything. If you want to have guys in your thief doing defense, I suggest you use horse archers because they're the same price. And then if you want to come pull some guys out for reinforcements, you can, or fill up one of your clan parties. That's what I do. Why the hell would you ever use these when you can have these? And this is one of my arguments I'd really like to make. I'm fine with having this unit in the tree for the player because maybe you want to do a Khuzait playthrough where you're not some horse archer and you got picked on by the horse archers and you want to get revenge, or you want to bring more of an infantry bow, heavy cav, whatever it is. You got your playthrough, you do it, King. The problem is the AI builds this shit by the thousands when it should just be building heavy horse archers. To me, it would be more thematic for it to have more heavy horse archers. And there's just no reason for it to build this unit. There's plenty of factions that have archers. You fight them all the time. When you fight the Khuzait, you're looking for that heavy horse archer fight, I think. Plus, the AI is already terrible with horse archers anyway. It just sends them to their death every time. So it might as well send the good ones, I guess, right? I don't see the point of this unit. It's repetitive, and I don't use it. Unless you're doing a playthrough, specifically a story where you're wanting to have a lesser unit, then I don't see the point of the marksman at all. I know I'm a bit of a horse archer fanatic, so I'm biased, but I just don't see the point of the marksman. And then the Darkan, this is awesome. I think he looks awesome as a guard. These guys really do hold up well as far as heavy infantry go. They're great in defense at holding the gate. I love their throwing spear. Very cool. The mask, the armor, the lamellar, they just look awesome. Their weapon is a heavy saber, so they don't really have any armor pin or anything. I don't know. I wish they had like a mace or something that made them a little more unique. Their shield is pretty good at 340 hit points, but it doesn't stand out. Their armor is okay, but they're not super heavily armored, but it does okay. I don't bring infantry in my personal army, but when I set up my kingdom parties here with my AI party control mod, you'll see that I tell my kingdom parties here, I tell them to bring 30% infantry because it's nice to have someone to send up the ladders instead of my Khan's Guard. Khan's Guard can do it. They can do everything and they kick ass. They really do. But not having the shield going up the ladders is pretty brutal, and they take what I consider to be unnecessary casualties. So when I call the kingdom together, the Great Bolden Horde, I like to have some infantry. I like to have some heavy cav to be going in and causing chaos while the horse archers are running around. But you'll see no one is to bring marksmen ever. Okay, we've got horse archers to do the shooting. We don't need archers. It's ridiculous to me that this faction would even build. It just makes me sick. Makes me fucking sick. And now let's talk about he who is last, but most certainly not least, and you could make the argument is probably greatest of the warriors of Calradia. There's some other contenders, kinda, but people always say the Battanian Fiend because they got the long bow and the more bow skill, but they don't have the mount. When it comes to a master of the battlefield, you got to give it up to the Khan's Guard because he's got the lethality. Now, he's got that step recurve bow that the regular horse archers have because they got nerfed. They used to have a better one, but they got nerfed a little bit, which is just fine. He's got the same step arrows that the heavy horse archer has, but you can see on top of all that, we've got this elite glaive. And this is what's so great about these guys. They don't even need the bow. They're lethal with just this glaive. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to throw on some very nice heavy armor, except this is his great weakness down here in the legs. And if you're fighting Khan's Guard from the ground, don't be afraid to stab him in the foot. We've got that heavily armored noble mount. This guy just rolls around and blast. He can run around and flank. You can deploy him. You can move him in and out. Anytime the enemy makes any mistake in movement or placement, you can exploit it with these guys very quickly. I mean, what do people love to do with their Fiends? Set them up on a hill and shoot over their infantry. Well, these guys don't even need the hill because they're mounted. You can set them right behind an infantry line and they'll shoot right over the top, point blank range. And then when you need them to get to running and gunning, sending them out to do that. If the enemy's coming at you, you can send one group on the left, another group on the right, and you can just move them very quickly. You can't do that with Fiends. They can't move around as quickly. These guys can redeploy anywhere you need to gain strategic advantage. And once they get there, they are going to destroy. 2 stacks of Steppe arrows, and we're going to throw on that 200 bow skill plus all the captain's perks you throw on them. Now, it used to be a little higher. Like I said, they got nerfed, but they didn't get nerfed much. And let me tell you, they're doing just fine. I can tell you from playing this playthrough, they are doing just fine. This is one of the most elite units in the game. In my opinion, this is the whole reason you play the Khuzait, is to get your hands full of these guys. And they're just so badass looking together, running around with their little horse-tailed glaives and their mask and their bows and their horses. And it's raining death, and you're just dominating your enemies in one of the most badass ways ever. I mean, horse archery is just so cool. So freaking cool. And they look awesome. They kill amazingly. And like I said, they're pretty tanky, and you can give them some stuff to make them more tanky. I always say the whole reason they had to build the Warsails DLC is to ride the river of tears that you've seen on the forums over Khuzait. And what's funny is the AI is not good about building armies of them. If the AI ever built the armies I built, 173 Khuzait coming at you, you would know the difference. I feel like Khuzait armies are some of the easiest to beat in the game because the AI is so bad with horse archers. But in the hands of a player, you can dominate with your horse archer armies. I mean, it's completely unfair and it's completely overpowered, but it's a lot of fun. But the thing is, just make sure that you earn your stripes, right? Yet you work your way up. Don't just come in right away and recruit a bunch of noble sons, level them up to Khuzait and start the game that way. That is so lame. That is lame-o. Shame, shame, shame. Lame, lame, lame. Don't start getting your Khuzait until you're a noble, and then be reasonable about it until you get to the late game and you're just having to crush army after army. Then grab a bunch of them. But by this point, you've earned it. Plus, I've rescued most of these from the other armies that have gotten captured, so I'm not going to let my boys go to the chopping block. This is my personal army, so I like to be a little heavy-handed on the Khuzait. You'll see here in my template for my Bolden Horde, right here, that I have Khuzait, Lancers, and heavy horse archers, and of course everything that goes into those. So when my units come, they bring a combination of those. I feel like it's more thematic that way. I really do like to have the heavy horse archers. This is a fantastic unit, and like I showed you, they don't have quite the bow skill. I mean, they have 70 less bow skill, but if you buff them up a little bit, they're just beneath a basic Khuzait. And especially if you put that banner on top of it, these guys are lethal, and they have the same bow and the same arrows that the Khuzait have. Pretty good armor. They have even better leg armor than the Khuzait. So, I mean, these guys are fantastic, and I love to use them. And they're great units. I love this heavy horse archer. I think he's one of the best tier 5 troops in the game as far as just offensive firepower. Because, you know, the javelins are elite and they're awesome, things like the forest, but they run out of those javelins pretty quick. And you start getting into these late game battles where you've got 2,000 on 3,000 or whatever, and these double quivers do start paying off in spades. This is a fantastic roster with one glaring exception. Stay away from these guys, in my opinion. Just not worth it. My armies mostly consist of Khuzait and horse archers. I'd like to bring in some lancers on top of that. Don't touch the marksmen. And then I use these dark hands for sieges, going up the ladders or keeping people from coming through the gates. They do a pretty good job of that. Bring in the Khan's Guard on top of all these guys, and it's one of the most lethal rosters in all of Calradia in the hands of the player. And it's just such a unique play style to come out here and build that F5 bro tornado running around, stomping your enemies. And it's a nice break from all the shield walls, arrows on top of the hill, shit that you do with all the other factions. It's unique, it's lethal, it's badass, and it's, most importantly, a ton of fun. You're going to absolutely love it. Get yours today. One thing you'll notice here in the Age of Warsails amongst the Khuzait is that we have absolutely zero Mariner troops. And you know what? Who gives a shit? First off, the whole Mariner system is borked, completely borked, because it's just a further nerf to the AI that already struggled to put up a challenge to the player. And then you bring in the Mariner perks on top of that, which give you just insane buffs like 50% armor pen. It's just like you're beating the AI down that was already you're kicking them while they're down. It's like you're beating them up and then curb stomping them. And then the whole Mariner system doesn't even apply to the Nords. They have heavily armored Mariner troops. Make it make sense, and it doesn't. So in the end, I'm glad we don't even have Mariner perks, because we don't need them. We'll be out here burning your villages and ransacking your towns. But it is the Age of Warsails, and sometimes you're going to need to sail from like Chaikan or Makeb and come over here and fight the Northern Empire, or you're going to want to come up here from Bolgard and sail up and hit the northern Nordic territories. I mean, there's just times when getting around on the water is a lot faster. So always make sure, of course, that you have your navigator. Where is he? Here he is, first mate navigator. I found an Imperial dude right here. And when we talk about the Khuzait fleet, we got to bring in that Kalguk. The thing about the Kalguk is, to me, it reminds me of a mini Garab. It doesn't hold the amount of guys that a Garab holds, but it's got that same slick look. It's got that nice fat ass. And what can you see on mine? No freaking shields. What do I tell you when it comes to ships? If you're a firepower faction like the Azerai or the Khuzait, the shields are going to nerf you as much as they protect you. Let the arrows fly, baby. And I like to make them flaming arrows on top of it. Plus, most important upgrade you can get for your horse archer army on the water, right here, large ammo crates, plus 3 quivers. The big issue with the Kalguk is, you'll see right here, I'm already running into it. It just doesn't hold that many guys. And so as you get more and more guys, if you stick with the Kalguks, just for my own 430-man party that it got to, I would need 5 or 6 of these. I guess I'd need 5 of them to cover every guy in my party, which is going to stack your damn over fleet size penalty. This whole thing just, I mean, the more ships you have, the slower you are. That makes sense. But then you can unlock having extra ships, but bringing those extra ships nerfs you. It just, you can't catch shit. So I don't know. Don't get me started. It's a little frustrating, but here's what I suggest you do. Use the Kalguks for your personal party, and then you run around and you hunt the heavy ships. And then when you capture either a Garab or a Dromon, then you convert that to your flagships and maybe get 2 or 3 of those to help with this crew size, so that you don't have to get this huge oversized fleet penalty from stacking Kalguks. And then when it comes to my personal parties, I hand them all 2 Kalguks each, because they all stay under 200 troops throughout the game. I don't think personal parties ever get, I mean, what they get, their steward perks, plus they get a little bit for clan tier, but all of them, I think, stay under 200. So 2 Kalguks each will work. So you can still bring the Kalguks. And here's my late game fleet, and you can still see I'm short. I need a whole nother ship. So I probably bring in a Kalguk here, or a Sambuk or something, just to make it so that I've got enough room for my own personal army. Otherwise, you hit the water and you get this overmanned penalty, and you're just super slow. So just using Kalguks is going to be a problem. At 100 each, you're going to need like 5 of them to get it going on. So maybe just use like 3 Dromons and 1 Kalguk for your personal party, and then you can give the rest of your guys Kalguks if you want to bring them in. I like to have the Kalguks because they're Khuzait ships and I like the theme, but I don't want to have to carry 5 of them just to get, I don't know. You could just use 5 of them, I guess. That's fine. But there's something badass about using these ships that you've taken. And I took this one off Gyrios himself. Just make sure they have the quiver upgrade. That's the only one that really matters. And I like to go ahead and put on the arrow brazier too. And then, of course, I mean, this is what does most of the killing anyway, these fire pump ballistas. This is all that matters. And then my favorite figurehead is the Hawk. Ranged crew accuracy plus 15%. This is how I ran around in the mid-game. I just bought Calgix and upgraded them, and I handed them out to my buddies. He still needs one. It's going to be nice to have a Navy because I can come over here to the Northern Empire and get to farming. Now, I could just run all the way over there, but it can be kind of nice to sail. Plus, the fleet can actually be a nice thing to fall back to if you want to reposition or get away quickly, or they send an army out to intercept you, and then you hop on your ships and you just sail down the coast a little further. I've been up here raiding, and they sent an army to come get me. I come get on my ship, and then we sail out, and we come back over here, and we start raiding over here. So it can be a nice way to reposition. But I really, truly did not spend that much time on the water, and I most certainly was not looking to fight on the water as the Horse Archer faction. But I will say, you can do it just fine, and especially once you have those Mariner perks, you will run. I mean, you can gun people down. There are arrows shooting all over the place. They're not quite as good as Bereas, because the Bereas have those awesome bows and their Mariner troops, but the Consguard do just fine. They do just, was it like a 20% reduction? I mean, that's fine. With all the buffs you're giving them, it all equals out. If you're in transit and you see some guy on the water, I would hit him. Like, hey, why not? And then if I capture the Dromon, I'd keep it. So here we have our guy. I'll just show you real quick. And look, you can see the Consguard. They're just shooting from everywhere. And I mean, the fire pop ballista does most of the work anyway, right? And you just come over here, and we're gonna come right up, and we're gonna board. And then we're gonna come off here, and we just get to shooting. It does help to aim down. You can see that my accuracy is way lower on the water, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Just shoot at them. They go down. Your guys shoot them. It takes a little longer than if you have a party full of Corsairs, but it doesn't matter because in land battle, these guys are going to decimate. Plus, it is snowing, so you're getting a reduction in accuracy and damage. See, it works just fine. Hit them with the fire pop ballistas. Close in and let your boys gun them down. The overlapping fire. I mean, look at this Calguk, though. Look at the guys in the back here when you're in these big battles. And this one I sent them. But if you send them back, they'll fill up this back half and they'll just be gunning. I mean, the supporting fire from all the ships, especially when you get multiple ones of them, fantastic. Plus, it's sleek and badass. And I like it most of all because it was really an Imperial party ship and it got converted into a battleship. So when you're not kicking ass, you can see this would be a great place to have a party with the Boklahoma gang, huh? Come out here, have a little barbecue, a few brewskis with the boys, huh? Yeah, you better believe it. Did we get it? No, Dromon, boo. But I did get the horse figurehead. And then you just continue on kicking ass and you can just deploy and here we go. So it's an age of Warsails, but don't get it twisted. All the real shit happens on land. Let them sit out there with their special Mariner troops playing bumper boats. You'll be on the land kicking ass and taking names. Give a damn about some Mariners. Now let's get you started on the steppe. You got to be careful out here because it won't be long. You're running around and you're going to run into some steppe bandits. There's some looters. All right. Where's those steppe bandits at? It won't be long before you run. You're going to run around here. You're going to recruit some troops, and here they come. What's his speed? Look at that. 5-1. Just 10 of them. They are flying because they're mounted. These are mounted bandits out here. What does that tell you? It tells you that speed is the name of the game. And how do you build speed? With horses. Horses are the #1 currency out here on the steppe. You don't have to worry about dinars because you won't have dinars if you don't have horses. You got to have speed. And so let's come right here to Assalig, which this is the home of Bobo Khan. This is where he started out. Remember when I told you I started out under the Khuzait? And it's interesting because in Warband, the Khuzait are the ones in charge. But here in Bannerlord, it's the Urkadit or whatever. It's Monchug's clan. So it's interesting to think about how the Khuzait eventually took over, because here at the beginning of Bannerlord, they've taken some casualties, and I think most of the men in their family are dead, which is why their clan leader is Masui. She's all screwed up. She got jacked up too. She got like one eye, and she's kind of hot, honestly. She's got that like hot, banged up grandma look going on. Maybe that's just me. But the Khuzait, I'm kind of fond of them because I came up under the great Sanjar Khan. Anyway, this is the village of Bobo Khan. I'll take you a look. Yeah, let's just take a look. Let's just take a look, and you can see we got the jeers and the fires and the furs hanging out. You guys know I love that fur. You see where I get it from. I got raised. There's some ducks right there laying eggs. We got the apples for the horses. Hell yeah, we got horses everywhere in here. This is my jeer right here. 100%, this is me. Right here with the horses outside. Fine looking beasts. And then we come in here, we got the rugs and my boy right here. This is Big Mac. How you doing, Mackie? He's cool, he's chilling. We got the buckets for the milk, whatever we need. Some grain for the horses. Awesome. That's probably the chief's tent right there. Got the sheep for wool. Little chow, look at this. Open range to go ride around on. Beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. That's simple life. Not all that town where people shitting in the street everywhere. Out here you get the fresh air, the horses, everything. Everything a man needs to have a ball. Look at this. The art in this game. What a badass way to live, too. I mean, you just had to be tough as hell because you know the steppe gets super cold. So, I mean, you just had to hunker down, and these jeers are awesome. It's just so impressive to me, all the different biomes that humans have lived in and how they just thrive. They build these awesome houses, awesome cultures, and then learning how to fight on horseback with a bow and arrow is so cool. It's so impressive. But anyway, this is Bobo's hometown. And it's important, though, because horse villages, right? So we got a horse village here, and we have a horse village here. And here's something you probably may have not paid attention to if you're new to the Khuzait faction, but in the menu screen, you'll see that horse villages, livestock villages, actually, produce 25% extra livestock for the Khuzait. Now, the big drawback for the Khuzait is that their towns receive 20% less income, which is to simulate that a lot of their people don't live in the towns. They live out on the steppe. And one of the problems Monchug's having is that there's a lot of dissent on him trying to get people to move to town because he wants to be able to tax them and tax their herds and stuff. And we're the free roaming people. So in my playthroughs, I like to pretend that I'm from one of those nomad tribes that's trying to live wild and free. We're honoring the old ways, not these little town-dwelling weaklings. We're going to recruit some hometown boys here, some real ones. There we go. But look, now my speed is greatly reduced. So now when I'm running around at 4.2, those steppe bandits are going to get me. So you have to be careful here. What you want to do is you want to get them mounted up ASAP. But you don't have a lot of money in the early game. Here with Balticand, one of my favorite cities in all the game, both for my Khan and my troll. Keep the troll away. But look, we get 2 horse villages, plus, like I showed you, we get that bonus to production. So you come into Balticand, you go to trade horses here, and look, 198 early horses. I mean, this is crazy. And the game just started. If you let this fill up more, great place to buy steppe horses. And then when you're ready for them, great place to buy steppe hunters, the war mounts you'll need to upgrade to the heavy horse archers. But here at the beginning, you really just want some steppe horses. So this is my suggestion. First off, this initial stealth gear is pointless. I wouldn't even use this. I don't start hitting hideouts until I can really start clearing them pretty effectively. Feel free to sell all your original stealth stuff. That's a good thing to do. And now we're going to be able to buy at least a couple, I don't know, like 3 or 4 horses like that. I like to just go ahead and buy 5 of them. And then we'll get a little bit of there's no food in here. Well, that's awful. And then we're going to roll around. Now we got to be very careful, and you want to stay close to a village or ride by a noble, because if a group of 10 step bandits comes pouring out, you want to be able to get to cover. And especially at nighttime, remember, you have reduced visibility at nighttime, and they're going to catch you. There's no way you're not mounted enough to stop them. So we're going to come down here, and you just want to be, okay, that's what we need, though. You see those 12 looters? And now, because we have those horses, we're going to be able to catch them very quickly. And it's 12 on 12. Not ideal for me. Why? You don't listen to me. What do I tell you? Huh? More bros. Oh, one thing about bows, too. Let's just cover this. The two things that are most important about bows, well, there's three, right? Damage, accuracy, and speed. And you can see right there, the damage, 40 pierced, not great. The accuracy at 85 is awful. There is worse than that, but it's pretty low. Really, you want something over 90 plus, and anything over 95 is even better. But 90 plus is huge. 85 accuracy plus all the penalties that we're incurring from sucking right now, it's going to be really hard to hit the broadside of a barn. When you first start out shooting horse archery, don't get discouraged because it seems impossible, especially if you're first starting out, and especially compared to something like starting with a two-hander or a crossbow, or the other skills are just way easier to start with. But the payoff is there when you get to the max levels. I promise you, you will not regret it. But two things: use it as much as you can. Just try to land the shots as best you can. And then as soon as you can, comfortably, get yourself an upgraded bow with better accuracy and missile speed. Missile speed is another thing because your arrows are going to be very slow at 64 speed. Don't get discouraged when you're first starting out. Just come in here and we're going to do this first battle. There's a few things you can do here. You can either stay behind your guys and just come with them and shoot. But another thing that can be kind of fun to do is if you just come out here, and I'll be lucky if that, you'll see the accuracy. First off, the spread is huge. And then you just drag them out. Well, I landed one there. There we go. Now, these guys got, I'm telling you, these guys got arms. You won't believe the arms they have. And this is where that medicine perk helps. But you see how I pulled some guys away from the fight? And now my guys have the advantage up close. And then we're just going to wind up, just get the best shots off that you can. Is that my guy or is that one of their guys? I felt like that was one of their guys. I don't know. There we go. Well, maybe that's my guy. Sorry, buddy. But anyway, that's something you can do. You could come out here and do the horse archer thing, and you can drag a few guys away and give your guys some numerical superiority. So you don't have more bros, but you have more bros at the point of contact. You've got your horses that are increasing your party speed, and you can go ahead and start throwing some guys on them right away. But I suggest you actually don't do that. I like to go ahead and get me about 10 spearmen. And where I level them up to is right here. This spearman is so excellent for the steppe because he has a massive wicker shield. Forget the stats. It's just so big. And he's got this fantastic spear. He just does excellent against, guess what? Steppe bandits. Also, if they do die, it doesn't cost you a horse. If I go putting a bunch of guys on these low-level horse archers right now, and then we go fight looters, and you'll see the low-level ones are awful. They are truly awful, and they will run right into a bunch of looters and get decimated. And then you lose the unit, and you lose the horse that you gave him. So before I start building the horse archer party, I like to build up about 10 of these spearmen, and I get them up to level 3. And remember, because you have the horses in your inventory, you're still getting that footmen on horses bonus. So it's not going to hurt your speed having the footmen because they just hop on the horses. It's going to be tempting, but stay away from these. No noble sons, no noble troops until noble. Commit to the playthrough. Build up your war band. Start out as a band of rough, poor nomads, can barely afford the horses. And then you build up your clan slowly. You're going to really enjoy the playthrough. It's going to make it way more immersive and a lot more fun, and it's going to feel awesome when you do get to the top because you earned your stripes. Fast forward a bunch of looter parties later, and this is my crew right here. We've got 10 spearmen, like I said. These guys are still leveling up, and now Once I get those 10, now I'm starting to bring in some tribal warriors, and I'm going to level these guys up to raiders, and I'm just going to keep them here because they're going to need war mounts, remember, to get up to the horse archer. Something to look out for, and something that I find to be true, is that Khuzait tournaments tend to be easier. Now that comes with an asterisk, right? Because shit can happen inside tournaments. They can go sideways quick. But overall, because the whole point is to kite around and there's so much throwing, it's just not as much shield on shield melee combat at the beginning against high level lords. There's a lot of bow and arrows, there's a lot of javelins, there's glaives. A lot of times you can find a tournament like I did here in Ortengard, and I won that tournament, and I get this Cossian mount. And this is what we call, you win the early game here. This is unbelievable start, but there's also plenty of rewards that are not quite this good. They're still fantastic to get. 3 or 4 grand early is unbelievable. This is a ton of horses. Now you could keep it and use it if you want. It's a fantastic mount, but for the early game, for me, I'm selling that. This is going to be damn near, this is going to get you up and rolling. And I don't need, I'm still riding my Sumpter horse. I'll go ahead and give myself a regular steppe horse, but this is all you need for the early game. It's better to have the money, in my opinion. And what he's really going to fund for me is he's going to buy an entire set of stealth gear. And now I can start clearing hideouts with that. That's got 58 Pierce. What's this, 53? And look, if you can come in here and go ahead and get yourself a little extra masterwork recurve here. Look at that. 94 accuracy, better missile speed, everything. Fantastic. Do look out for tournaments, because I find that once you get the hang of them, the tournaments out here in Khuzait territory are pretty easy to win, or at least you have a better chance of winning them, depending on your skill level. So good luck and Godspeed. The next thing you want to do is you want to find yourself a roguery buddy. We're going to set us up an alley to get to leveling our roguery. The faster our roguery levels up, the more loot we're going to get, and getting more loot early. And like I told you earlier, yes, it's hard to get it all the way leveled up, but it doesn't take long at all to get it moderately leveled up. And getting that extra loot early is huge, because loot is cash and you need a ton of it. While you're running around, checking for tournaments, taking out bandits, stay on the lookout for companions. 2 requirements. They need at least 30 roguery, and they cannot have the merciful trait. You will find guys that have roguery, but they also have the merciful trait. Those won't work. It's got to be someone with at least 30 roguery, no mercy trait, and we're ready to go. And then what you do is when you come to a town, I've done a whole guide on alleys right here. If you're interested in them, if you want all the scoop, go right there. But we're going to just look up here and see, okay, that clearing right there, that's only got 3 guys in it. The waterfront has 5. Another thing you can do, because I have the money, just to make sure all goes well, is I can just recruit this guy if you're having a hard time. And now it's 3-on-3. Here we are at the clearing. There's the head thug in charge, and here's my boys. Go ahead and get out the blades, and we're going to tell this fella, I'm just having a look around, and I don't take orders from him. And he's like, oh, yeah? You're a mouthy one. Get him. Oh, yeah? You want some of Bobo, mother? No, you don't. That's 1 down. We took it over. And this is what's so immersive about this playthrough is we're taking over alleys. We're fighting bandits and other nomads on the steppes. We're down here at the bottom level, building our way up. We're going to take over this alley, and we're going to put our guy in here. Remember when I told you early game to go ahead and build yourself up 10 spearmen? Well, guess what you need to fill your alley with? 10 troops. And you're going to need good, at least decent troops, not great troops, to help when you have to defend your alley from a takeover, because they're going to come try to take it back. So I'm going to put these troops in here, and now it's well protected. Your relationship will initially decrease, but by having a guy in this town, you'll actually begin to build reputation with this faction. So my reputation will slowly build with the Khuzait. I like to think of it as my guy. handling thing for Mesui as she's out running around. We're here to help you. You know, she's not initially happy with us moving in, but she learns that we're here to help. That sets up an alley. Now you'll see we only get like 35 a day from the alley, but it's not about the money. What it does is it passively generates roguery, and then it will proc alley defenses where another gang tries to move in and you got to come defend your alley. And then when you win that, you're going to get a ton of roguery. Just for setting it up, I got 25. I mean, just a huge amount right away. So we set up our alley. We've done our tournaments. We're fighting bandits. And now we found a hideout to clear, and we're going to get to clearing it. You can see I've got my stealth gear. I've got my stealth bow. I've got 2 stacks of the light bodkin arrows, and we're ready to roll. The 2 things to be most aware of when you're clearing hideouts are helmets and snow. You see this guy right here with that helmet? It's going to be very hard to one-shot him because that helmet's going to protect him from a lot of your headshot damage, especially when you're first starting out like I am right now. So I'm going to have to put multiple rounds in that guy to get him down, whereas that other guy with no helmet on, you're going to be able to plug him very easily. And you'll see if I just shoot this guy right here. See, he took that. It even says I hit him in the head. I don't like to have all that shit on in the corner, but I leave it on right now so that you can see what I'm talking about. And then this next guy, though, watch. You'll hit him. He's one shot. He goes down. No problem. And it's same for this idiot. The helmet guy here, he's going to take a couple shots even with the headshot. Now, as you level up your bow skill, it won't matter. The most important thing to look out for is if it's winter time and you're somewhere where there's snow on the ground, remember you get a ranged penalty to accuracy and damage. So if they have a helmet and it's snowing, it can take a bunch of shots to bring them down. Something to be aware of. So if it's snowing, maybe wait to clear the hideout or just be aware of it. The nice thing about that is, though, the more you shoot, the more you level your skill and so on. It's not that big of a deal, but it's something to be aware of, especially if you've got 2 guys and you need to take one down. If it's snowing, you might want to wait until they get into a better position. And this is all you do. People get all worked up. This is on challenging stealth mode. I always put on challenging. And if you need to hit them twice, it's no problem. You shoot for the head. If you don't hit it, you hit them again. If they're those armored guys, though, just know it can take 2 or 3 shots, so you got to be careful. My man up here is a hard shot, so sometimes it's better just to take this guy at the bottom, but you can actually get this guy if you just come up here like this. This is a risky one, because if he gets aggroed, then he runs down. You got 15 seconds. It takes him about 10 seconds to get down the stairs, I swear. So sometimes it's better to take this guy at the bottom first. Just be aware. If this guy up here at the top, if that guy has a helmet, then do this guy first and then do that guy. Helmets and snow. Those are the 2 most important things. Like this guy here is hard to get a headshot on, so just hit him in the body and then follow it up. And you can see bow skill, athletics every time you do it. And here's a helmet guy. So we're not going to get the headshot clear. And if I get it, you'll see right there, head, 83 pierce, but that helmet took enough. Just don't panic. Now this guy right here, you want to hit him hard with that first shot. That's the key, because you don't want it to take 3 shots. And it won't. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Do be aware that this is a shootout that happens here. A lot of people think it's over. It is not over. You're still clearing. And you got to be careful, because now they all turn around and guess who they get to shoot at? You. So I like to go ahead and tuck behind this rock. Let them pop some shots at your boys. Let your crew come in here. And you can see I got peasants and tier 3 guys. You don't see any high-level guys on here. This is the Bolden Horde when we first started out. Just me and my roughnecks. Leather armor and some spears. Getting it. Here at the final battle, let's see if I can impress you. Once you have very, very high-level archery, you can just, you're the fastest draw in the East. You can just pull your bow up and pop this guy. I don't know if I can do it here. 1, 2, shit. I didn't know I was going to take 3. There you go. It's risky, though, because all it takes is one hit from that glaive, especially the overhand. You could also get out the falchion here and get to work that way. This thing is really fast. Almost hard to combo. It's so fast. There we go. You do it that way, you tend to get a lot more... guys, look at this. Plus, I got the Steppe Bandit boss. And this is another thing about having that two-handed mace early is that you could knock that dude out and you could recruit a bunch more of these bosses. And these guys, what's funny about the bosses is they don't upgrade to the Khan's Guard. Once they're a boss forever. And I've had these guys for a while. And what's weird is, look, their bow skill, though, 160 early in the game. These guys are phenomenal early game units. I mean, they're pretty good throughout the game. Their armor's a little lackluster for the big battles as time goes on. But here, like right now, when I have a bunch of these guys, are you kidding me? Plus, these raiders are now starting to come in. But look, I just grab all these guys, and now this is what I'm recruiting. And I'm pulling these guys in. Even these Steppe Bandits, this is melee cav, but they'll level up to Marauders, or they'll die trying. You're getting good troops that are going to help you win battles and win loot. And when you fight with these bandit troops, you're leveling your roguery. So you have your ally leveling your roguery. You've got your bandits you're fighting with leveling your roguery. Plus, if you sell any guys, you level your roguery. But this Steppe Bandit boss, I mean, that 160 bow skill and that 100 riding, plus he's got the glaive. And he's only got 1 stack of arrows, but it don't matter. He gets it done. And he's got that recurve bow that the heavy horse archer and the Khan's Guard have. What bow do the raiders have? Everybody's got this Steppe recurve. It's just, that's what we're using. It's the name brand on the Steppe recurve bow. Everybody loves it. I got to tell you, this fine steel leaf spear is amazing because it has dismount on it. If they thrust attack an enemy unit with it, it has a chance to dismount them. We get a bunch of guys that we're going to bring in here, and then we get some armor and stuff. What do we got? Anybody need anything? We get some horses. We get some cattle. Turn that into meat. Sometimes it's better to do that, to sell it that way. Oh, one thing you can also do, too, is you can use a mace. And that way you can just knock that guy out. But this thing hits for shit. And since you don't have much in one-handed, it hits even worse. So, I don't know. Maybe keep the tournament blade. Bunch of loot. And then we get some charm for clearing it. I mean, you just get a ton of benefits from clearing those. It doesn't take that much time. It's pretty easy. But just look out for helmets and snow, and you're going to be just fine, Bannerlord. This is what I'm talking about when you get an alley defense proc. You'll see. You'll get this alert that's saying your alley is under attack from neighboring gangs, and you've got 11 days to get back to town. And then you just come in here, go to your alley, and you confront them. And we're going to have a big dance party where we get our switchblades out and our sexy pants and put on the salsa music and shake our hips at each other like fucking men. You better believe it. Here they come. You want some of my alley? Take it from my cold, dead hands. It's a great way to level some skill. And then you can see we completely outclass them because I put my spearmen in here. It's actually a little overkill, but you need to level up more guys anyway. And you'll see, let's see how much roguery I get here. Watch. Bam. 14 skill points in roguery. That's what I'm saying. Now, it can be a long time before it procs. Sometimes you'll get them one after the other, and sometimes it feels like a month goes by before you get them, but they'll come. So the more alleys you have, the more likely you are to get them. And sometimes you can get multiple in a row, and that can get your roguery up very quickly. I kind of quit doing them too early. I probably could have got my roguery up faster, but you can see I'm only level 8 here, and my roguery is already at level 87 because I'm fighting with the bandit troops, got the alley set up, and not only do they generate these big bursts of roguery, but they also just give you passive roguery. Make sure you go into roguery early. You can see I went into bow, scouting, roguery. And now I've got my 2 alleys set up, and now I'm just running around kicking ass. And this is my progression. I like to get 2 alleys set up, then I like to get a caravan going, and then I like to get married, just in that order, like very quickly. 1, 2, 3. 2 alleys, caravan, buy a wife. Just like that. All the while I'm trying to farm up to Clan Tier 1. We're almost there to get on that Merc contract. I'm no longer building spearmen. I'm just trying to stick with horse archers. I'm trying to get that horse archer
war band going. And that's what we're doing. We need some more horses. We got the money. We just need to go up to Baltican or any of these towns have pretty cheap horses. When you have groups of these low-level horse archers, just please remember they suck so bad. And they're so good about dying to looters. And not only do they die, which, I mean, that happens, but they cost you your horse. Okay, so you don't want that to happen. So if you just send them out there and charge them, I promise you they're going to run in there and die. A better thing to do is to spread them out and put them in follow like this. And now they're following me. And then what you do is you just slowly kite away while they get all the shots they want. And you're going to stay out of melee range so they don't die. They're going to get some shots off. You can see how much my archery's improved already. And then the few guys that get through, you let your footmen finish off. And then at this point, you can send them in. Do not charge them from the beginning because these tribal warriors, I'm telling you, they suck something awful. I mean, it's just crazy what they'll die to. Have them follow you, drag them around, and they're going to be all right. And then once they get up to this raider, they're a lot better. They're a lot better. You can pretty much let them roam against looters. I use these raiders and raiders. Just a party of raiders. This is your perfect up until Clan Tier 1. Once you're on the Merc contract, I mean, I could make the argument I go ahead and start pushing these guys up, but you need the war mounts to do it. The whole goal is to build up your clan to where you're no longer running from the Steppe Bandits. You want them running from you. And here we got a big fat stack of 21, and these guys have been bothering me for a while. And now it's time to make things right. Plus, we hit that Clan Tier 1. We've got our caravan going. We've got our 2 alleys going. What did I tell you? 2 alleys and a caravan. And now we're really starting to gain some momentum. You can see I'm getting some better gear. I got a better bow. Everything's coming together very quickly because I'm a stud. And we've got some raiders. We got some bosses. We're starting to bring in some heavy horse archers because we're on that Merc contract that's bringing in the dough. We got the convoys, the alleys, the Merc contract all flowing, plus the loot. Where's my roguery at now? I'm level 12 and my roguery's already 110. See, it levels very quickly, but then it falls off a cliff. And I'm going to show you how to handle these Steppe Bandits. So we got our horse archer party here, all horse archers. It's snowing. So what do we know? We're going to have a reduction in accuracy and damage, but so does everybody else. Yes, it nerfs us, but I got to tell you, I think it nerfs other factions more because we have tons of arrows, first off. We have heavily armored horse archers here, some, not all, and they're slowed down, so it's actually a little easier to hit them for me anyway. I don't know about the rest of my troops. Everybody's suffering the same penalties. Plus, you're still fast enough to not get caught. So don't let it deter you. And when you fight these Steppe Bandit parties, you'll see they kind of break off into 2 groups. You'll see there's a ranged group and a melee group. And the ranged group wants to go around and pump you while the melee group comes into your guys. But Bobo Khan's too smart for that. So what I do is I start peeling off like this right away. And you can see how slow they are in the snow. And this is what I'm saying. It's actually kind of an advantage at times. So here they come trying to dive into us. And we just want to stay right. Just match their pace. Don't let them get in here and let your horse archers just dump them. And you can just shoot, use your lanes of fire here. Got to squeeze them in. Try not to throw any INTs like that. Sorry, buddy. Remember, you have reduced accuracy, so there it is. You can squeeze them in there. And now, we've taken care of, we just got 1 guy left. He can just come in. They'll take care of him. Now we turn around, and what we do is we go right at these ranged horse archers. When it comes to shooting your bow, just get your shots out. Don't worry if you miss one. Worry about the next one, okay? You're going to make some, you're going to miss some. I swear, some battles I can't hit the broadside of a barn, and sometimes I look like John Wick out here. And then once you get them real low, you can charge them. We only got 2 guys left. That's it. But that's a way that you can take down Steppe Bandit parties very safe. And this is a good lesson to learn early with horse archers. Isolate your enemies. Never fight an army as a whole. Fight sections of it at a time until you get it in a condition where you can now create that tornado of terror. We isolated the melee guys first, and then we swoop back around to take out the ranged horse archers, and we take very minimal casualties. And let's see what we get here. Did we get any? Yeah, we get some guys to recruit in here. I don't stop, at this point, I'm probably not, well, actually, I need some. So yeah, I'm bringing them all in. This is your whole early game. 2 alleys, a caravan, and this is what we're doing. We're hitting Steppe Bandit parties. We're getting awesome gear, and then we're hitting their hideouts as well. Here's a hideout. I'm coming down here, and I'm doing that next. Athletics is already at 109. I've already almost got that extra endurance right there, and we're cruising, baby. We're cruising. The bow skill's at 133. I'm at 6 already. As soon as I get this athletics up to 200, which will be no time, that's a few more hideouts, then I get that extra control attribute, and then it's smooth sailing all the way up to Deadshot. It's a very fluid build. It's a ton of fun, and it just synchronizes so well for an amazing early game. And if you pop a few tournaments wins on top of it, oh, baby, you're rolling. Here we are, not even clan tier 3, and look, I've got my wife and 2 kids on the way. 2 boys, by the way, my Unijin, this one, and she's got another one loaded up. We got the alley still running, which means I have to run up there and handle the defenses every once in a while. But that roguery's coming up, 154 already. Not even clan tier 3, and I already have partners in crime, which is allowing me to recruit a ton of raiders in Steppe Bros. You can see I've been clearing the hideouts, family. And the bow skills coming up. Like I said, it all plays together. Look, 206 already. All that to say, 2 alleys, a caravan, a wife. It's done. Here you're at a crossroads, and this is where you're going to have to decide how you want to proceed. If you want to support the Khanate and be a part of Monchug's Khanate, then you can join with him and you can start taking over these fiefs. And I've shown you in my last playthrough, getting some of these fiefs and taking care of other faction fiefs. There's ways to manage it and still make them very profitable, especially if you take something like Hargard or Vikaon's a good one. Myzia's a good one. Any of these are going to make you a ton of money. Danistica, there's ways to do it. But if you want to become your own Khan, one of the big things that's missing in Bannerlord is a civil war option. There's really no way to provoke a civil war. There's no way to challenge fiefs. There are mechanics, but they suck. There's no claimants like there were in Warband. The diplomacy system, talk about something that could use an overhaul, which is why the diplomacy mod is so popular, because it irons out some very sorely needed mechanics, if you ask me. If there was a civil war mechanic where you could earn rep, then you could activate a civil war with enough influence, and then all the lords had to decide, and they would kind of break 50-50 or 60-40, or you didn't really know, but the more rep you had, the more likely they were. It could be cool to do it that way. As it is right now, working from within a faction to subvert it is very difficult to do and kind of boring and drawn out. It's much easier to work from the outside in, and that's just the way it is. In this playthrough, I went with Regea. It's very nice. I like working for the Southern Empire because you get to fight down south, so you're not fighting in the snow as much. I like to work from the bottom up. This Akizer Castle is one of the best fiefs in the game. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but I love this fief so much. Right here on the border, so it's here to hold off any trouble. It's a castle, so it gets a ton of noble recruits. It's very defensible. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's a great fief. I like to have it early. In this case, I sign up for Regea, but you could make a good argument for signing up with the Northern Empire. Sturgia. You could make a good playthrough signing up with the Nords. I'm going to just come talk to my girl, and here's my suggestion.
Please.
I would sign up with her, just skip the whole dragging out the mercenary phase and everything. I have to tell you, I'm becoming less and less impressed with the mercenary phase. It's not that you can't make a lot of money. It's just that you can make a lot of money anyway, and then you want to build your influence up as quickly as possible. And what's that influence is going to buy you is it going to buy you a big-ass legion to come take a fief very quickly. And no amount of merc contract out there is going to make more than, I should have taken those guys. When I'm mercing for a faction, I will use their troops, especially their cavalry. So when I'm part of the Southern Empire, if I rescue cattle, I mean, I don't recruit them, but if I rescue them or I get some like that, I'll use them. So now I'm part of the Southern Empire, and I suggest you do it quickly. I don't see what the point is delaying. There's a few advantages. The big one is that the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a clan party. So I'm going to double the size of my war band because I'm going to have one of my companions and I'm going to give him a ton of horse archers and raiders and all these guys. And running around as a clan army is going to level my leadership very quickly. And I'm trying to get up to this veteran's respect. And then ultimately, I'm trying to level my leadership all the way up. Had I not gone this much in cunning, I could already be damn near at 7 social. So I can create a clan party, which is going to allow me to level my leadership and just give me a whole bunch more firepower in battles. And even with an army of 200 or 300 horse archers, under the player's control, they punch way above their weight. You're going to be able to bring down armies twice your size very easily. And that's a ton of loot. I mean, there's just no way a merc contract's going to compete with that. Plus, I can begin getting Khuzait fiefs and I can have them leveled up so that by the time I'm ready to branch out on my own, I've got a leveled up castle with some leveled up villages giving me lots of noble troops. And same with my Chaikan up here. Ta-da! Here we are. And what I tell you, Kaiser, I don't know how to say it. I always get in trouble for pronunciation. I'm sorry I didn't do real well in school. I was too busy being cool as fuck and making out with all the hotties. Nerds, go fuck yourselves. Managed castle. Look, it's all upgraded. Go to my garrison. It's pulling in guys and they're upgrading. I got my guy. I need some more guys. Where are we at now? Clan tier 5. And the important thing there is you get that kingdom policy, noble retinues. We just passed it, which is going to give you 40 more guys. But look here. What did I tell you the advantages were? I build my own clan parties, stuff them full of horse archers and ships in this case now. And not only did I get the castle, look up here. I got Chaikan. Some other lord got Hakun Castle, but I don't care because I'll take it back once I break apart. Where are we at on the skills? You can see we're coming up, but look at my leadership. Look how it's soared up. And now this is where you want to be before you break off onto your own kingdom. This is probably one of the most powerful perks in the game because you get a whole extra clan party. This is going to be the army that I have to start my own kingdom. The good news here is that it's a horse archer army and it's a leveled ass horse archer army. So it's going to punch well above its weight. Plus we got the garrison in here, 278 plus the militia. So if a big army comes, we can let it wear down a little bit and hit it when it gets a little more manageable. All right. But this is where you want to be. You join a faction, you create your own parties, you go run around. I fought the Northern Empire. I fought the Azerai. Take a look here at the diplomacy screen. She's at war with both the Azerai and the Western Empire. And the Khuzait are at war with the Sturgians, and they're trading with the Nord. So they're a little busy up north, which means even if they do declare war on me, their armies, because they've been at war, won't be as stacked. So we're in a situation now where Reggae is at war with 2 factions. And now that I'm all leveled up and I'm prepped up, witness the rise of the Bolden Horde. And I get to it. See what I'm saying? I don't drag it out. I saw someone on the forum said, you need 10 million gold before you start effect. Are you out of your mind? That is, I mean, just the amount of bad advice that goes out on Reddit in a single day. You don't even need 1 million. You don't even need 500,000. You can get to it. You are about to be fighting huge battles. Plus, as I was fighting the Khuzait, I released all the lords. So I have very good relations with these guys. So when I run into them again, the first thing I'm going to do is try to woo them. So we declared our own kingdom with our 2 fiefs. Wouldn't you know it, the Southern Empire didn't take it so well. So they've sent a legion to come mess us up. It's fine. We're going to just roll out here and drag it out. You could take this 1303 head on, But to me, using your clan strength, even spending it like that, is ridiculous. Why the hell would you do that? We're going to let them come down here to this level 3 walls, level 3 siege workshop, plenty of garrison and militia, and we're going to let them wear themselves out on the walls here. Why on earth would I fight them in the snow while it's snowing at maximum strength when I could come down here, let them wear themselves out a little bit, hit them on a wide open steppe? And this battlefield here, that's another thing about a Geezer Castle, is that the battlefield that you get from this is insane. So let them set up. Yep, there's the warning. We'll go ahead and top off our cohesion. And now Monchug wants some too. All right. Well, we'll deal with that here in just a second. This is why before you declare a kingdom, get those garrisons up, baby. And now what we're going to do is I like to split my army up sometimes. It depends on the battlefield. A big open battle like this where we're going at them, I like to split it up. I'm going to send the other half of my horse archers over there, group 5. They are going to... Who the hell brought all these soldiers? I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, I'm going to put one group to follow me, and we're going to take out... They got 100 and something horse archers here that we're going to take out. And these guys are just not even going to hold a candle to your guys. They're just not. But you got to be careful because here comes the other one. But look, see there in the back? There goes my guys. And they're taking out that cavalry on the flank.
Move! Horse archers, follow me!
This is what you want to get really good at doing. Is you want to do a bunch of feigned retreats. Just feign away. And look, I'm sending my 241 horse archers out there, and they're attacking those archers. Now, they're taking some casualties, but you're going to see, because my horse archers are so leveled up, that they're going to do some work. Because of our mobility, we can come and join them.
Give them hell!
Here we go. Now, be careful. And this is what I'm to see how much faster I am than everybody. You don't need much more riding than what you have. Well, look, we've completely isolated their archers now, and we've just demolished them. And now I'm going to send that group 5 of horse archers up after the infantry. And then I can send my infantry in, my cavalry, everything. We're kind of getting clustered up here. I get distracted talking. Guys, let's go. Okay, and then when they're behind them like that, now I'm going to send my guys. And so now we're on both sides of them. And this is what I'm talking about, that F5 Bro tornado. And we're just going to start sending shit everywhere. Just get your rounds out. Don't worry about it. And don't be afraid to slow down either. You don't have to go around at maximum speed. Control is the name of the game. But just put the rounds out, get them down and weaken them. Don't be afraid to take a horse down. It don't matter. They got their shield up, that's fine. Put it right in the forehead of their horse. You can get in nice and close, but you got to be careful with these Imperial armies. And this is what you want. See how we got horse archers everywhere? And this is the benefit to splitting them up, is that you can send one group around while the other group holds the base of fire. And then once you got them on both halves, you just charge them all. And now here come the reinforcements. You can reform if you want to save the casualties. It can get, the reinforcements are so wonky. They can be anywhere. There we go. And then when they're down like this, if you want to come in here and level. See, every time I get the glaive out, I'm reminded why I love it. You really get around on it once you level it up, and it's easy to combo because it's so slow. But that's what I'm talking about. Taking 51 casualties is what you want to do in the early parts of your kingdom. It's very important that you take calculated battles. You're my prisoner now. Oh, look at that light mace. Very good. That's the gear, or you can give them the experience. Probably at this point, I'm going to just let them have the experience, and then we're out. And now he's putting together another army, so I just tracked that one. But we do have to be careful because Manchug is coming. So I go up to Chaikan, sell my prisoners, sell my loot, whatever, and then we're back out here. A couple things to mention here. Don't worry about protecting your villages. You're not going to protect your villages. They're going to burn. What you want to do is you want to be destroying armies and holding on to lords. You want to completely cripple their ability to put armies together huge armies. They can put armies together. You just don't want them to be too big. And you're holding on to nobles is going to help. Now, they've got a forever list of them, but remember, not only are they fighting you, she's still at war with the Western Empire and the Azerai as well. So she's got a lot of problems. Now, they tend to take it pretty personal when you break apart, so they're going to send some more shit my way, but it buys you some time. The bigger issue I have right now is that Manchug has finally got his opportunity to crush me, the little upstart Khan, and so he's going to come. Here at the beginning, you're just going to be fighting army after army, which is fine. You're going to be getting a bunch of influence. What do you do with that? Well, the best thing to do as a new kingdom and as a new Khan is to get the policies you want for your kingdom. So in this case, without a question, we want the noble retinues. I also want royal guard. That's an extra 60 troops for my party. So that's an extra 100 troops total for my personal party. One that I really like to have that's very tough to pass when you got a bunch of nobles is forgiveness of debts. But I can pass it right now. No problem at all. That's extra loyalty for my factions, fiefs, and towns, which is going to be huge. I passed that early and I pushed into the late game and I have not had one rebellion. Another one that can be good for loyalty here, tribunes of the people, 5% less tax. Remember, you already get less tax as the Khuzait. You're not looking for tax money. But what we are looking for is obedience. So loyalty, that's a nice one. One that I found that was pretty nice to have and is actually tough to get past if your faction doesn't come with it. Coastal Guard Edict, because this little ocean out here is full of corsairs all the time. And running some Coast Guard off of Chaikan and Makeb really keeps them at bay. It does a good job of keeping this cleared out. Look at my personal price, extra 100 troops I can have. So I come in here, I go to keep, manage garrison, and we've been leveling up troops this whole time. My go-to early kingdom strategy is called siege bait. I'm going to set up here on Samira Castle, and I like to pick castles for a couple reasons. First off, you can't starve towns out. I don't know if it's a bug. I don't know if it's intentional, but you can't starve out towns. But you can starve out castles. Did you know that? So once they run out of food, it's going to be a little bit. Then the garrison will begin to deplete. So it'll take a while. But what me laying siege does is it agitates the AI to put an army together to come stop me. That's the big thing. And that's what we want them to do. Because if they don't come stop me, then what I'll do is I will take this castle because all that will be left is just the militia. And 315 militia is nothing. That's easy peasy. And so we just wait here. And eventually what'll happen is they'll respond. And here they're responding in force. And this is what you want. You want to fight the Khan on open ground. Yeah. We'll see who the Khan is. I wish I could get that helmet. God, I love that helmet so much. So we're fighting the Khuzait, and you know how easy the Khuzait are to beat, especially when the AI is playing them. And what we want to do here in particular is because we're fighting heavily outnumbered, I really don't want to split my groups up. We're going to stick together as one big horde, and they're going to send those horse archers right into a suicide mission. It's going to be horse archer on horse archer. It's going to be gnarly. Here they come, and you can see their whole army. So we got cavalry over to the right, and we've got their 277 of his 500 horse archers. Now, I have a bigger battles mod, so I'm able to load larger battles, which gives whoever has the most troops an advantage, but it turns into pretty nasty battles, which I love. So you're going to see a lot of dudes on screen, and you can see, look, what I tell you about the Khuzait AI. First off, those are low-tier horse archers, and secondly, they basically just sent them to their death.
Mount it up after me!
So we're going to do our hit-and-run tactics. We melted his horse archers,
With me!
showing him who the real horse archers are. That's what you get for sitting in that town all damn day, getting fat and nasty. Should have been out on the steppe riding with your boys like I've been. Here come the cavalry. Sorry, buddy. Just do what you can. The thing about cavalry diving into your formation of horse archers is that Khan's Guard have glaives. And if there's one weapon that's really good about taking down enemy cavalry, it's a glaive. So if they want to go diving into that 374-man blender, let them. What I really wanted to do was come over here and get a good strafing run on these archers. And here we go. Now we're going to get what I'm looking for. We want to pull the enemy into a position that we like. And we're going to lose a few guys. Guys die in battle. Shocker. Okay, now we'll get our cav coming back. And look, you can see their archers are just getting completely demolished. What I really like to do is get a batch of reinforcements before I go in, because you never know where they're going to spawn. Sometimes you set up this awesome death tornado, and then all of a sudden enemy reinforcements spawn right on the outside of it and brick it all up. It's awful. And you just got to be careful with your guys getting in your way. So just keep dragging them. And there we got some respawns. There's a bunch of horse archers coming as I run into the rocks. This is fine. This is fine. It gets a little nasty sometimes. Don't worry about it. You can see from the meter at the top, we're doing it right. Here comes their cav and their guys, and this is probably a good place to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick our horse archer guys here, and we're going to split them up. What's the half and half? About what, 170-ish, something like that. And we'll just go, and we're going to send group 5 after the infantry right there. Group 4 is going to stay here and provide a base of fire on those horse archers, and they're going to work with me, and we're going to move them back. Go ahead and send the cavalry in. Just let them get to working. I was a little late on that command. Probably should have just sent them a little earlier, but it's fine. Okay, it's not always going to be clean and pretty. Everybody's got to play until they get hit. And now we can send our guys in too and just charge everybody. And we're good now. And now we get to killing. We've weakened them up. They're hella weak. And even the guys that are here are not very leveled up. You can tell these are all the low-level horse archers. These guys suck. They don't do that much damage. Just fire away. I like to just stay back here and take these guys out. And then we're going to come out here. And like I said, sometimes it's better just to be controlled than go at top speed. It's beautiful. Look at this scene. Isn't this so badass? Look at the Bolden Horde banner. My bannermen doing it right. You're going to take casualties in these types of battles. It's just the nature of it. You really are. Don't get so upset, okay? Dudes die. That's the job. You want to ride with the Bolden Horde, you got to be able to put it all on the line like a damn man. Live by the sword, die by the sword. I just love this style of fighting. It's so badass. Just rolling around. You're really in no danger except for the random lance that comes out of nowhere. Or the random javelin. Boy, those nates. Here come my reinforcements. And these are horse archers with fresh bags of arrows coming in here after we've already whittled them down to the weaklings. And you can see the Khan's Guard. They get to work with those glaives once they're out of arrows. So there's times when it's best to split your horde up from the start of the battle and just get your tornado going. But then there's other times where it's better to bring it all together, move around the map as a unit, and then once you've softened them up and you got them prepped up and how you like them, that's when you split your group up and you start the Bro-NATO. You can see we took 100 casualties. That sucks. Rest in peace to my brave ones. The ones I love the most. Valhalla shall be yours. But we decimated the Khanate. So we run over to Chaikan, we grab a bunch of horse archers out of there, we stuff them in our parties, and we get back to work. And we lay siege again and make them bring another army. And if they don't bring the army, then we lay siege and we knock it down. That's easy to do with castles, but you can actually take these towns. I mean, it's a 424-man garrison, but it's not that leveled up. Your Khan's Guard will decimate the walls. One thing I'll tell you when it comes to sieging with your Khan's Guard and your horse archers, never, ever, and I mean ever, build a ram. Never build a ram. Make the enemy come out on the walls and fight on the siege towers and protect you from getting on the siege towers, because your guys are going to pelt them from the walls. And then eventually, once you level up your engineering enough, you can get military planner perk, extra 50% ammunition. And then you're just going to, I mean, just the range just completely OP. I don't know if you saw, but I captured, where is he? There he is, Tuluk. And he's a clan leader of the Arkit. And you can see I have high relationship with him. Plus, where am I at on my charm right now? 249, very high charm. What I want to do then is I want to come in here and I want to talk to him. I want to know how he feels about the ass kicking he just got and how he saw who the real Khan of the Steppe is. I think he's going to agree that things have changed. Be set free. And he's saying, what are you saying? I'm saying, I'm the ruler. Right here, look at that. 99% for a double whammy. Right off the bat, we've got two. Coming in hot. Oh, you know they love that Bobo Khan. Don't you know? Monchug is not known for keeping his word. That's true. That's true about that shady guy, although he's got a great helmet. And then right here, charm, there it is. And so, dangerous step, and he only wants 36 grand. It's like these people are like, you need 10 million dinar to start a kingdom. What a moron. What a luxury to be that stupid. You do not at all. And there we go. And now he's ready to serve the great Bobo Khan, and he's going to do us right. I like this guy. Rise up, brother. You're part of the Bolden Horde now, and we're going to tear shit up. You just keep smashing armies, you hold on to the nobles, you recruit the ones you can, and eventually you're going to conquer the steppe. And now we're out here pushing off of the steppe, even deep into Nord territory. I'm pushing my way towards Hargard. I just took this castle, and here the Nords sent someone to stop me. And this, when you fight the Nords, these guys are just the best. I love these guys so much. They have great loot. They have zero cavalry, so you can just get right to them. And look at these battlefields out here. I mean, when you see this, Banner Lords, you know the gods of Calradia are smiling down on you. And this is one of those times you can just get right to them. So just split your groups up. You don't need to kite them all around and do all that shit. These Nord armies, you can just tear them up. So I'm just going to send the group 5 in right there. Going right at the infantry. I think I got that. And I'm bringing group 4 with me. I'm just going to go ahead and send my cav at their cav, even though they won't listen to that command, and they'll probably just go into the shield wall anyway. Here comes like the 15 horse archers they hired. Hope these guys got paid well. Anyway, once my crew gets up here, they won't last long. Be careful with the Nords because they do have a lot of throwing weapons. I like to get in range and kind of farm them out, and then you retreat back. And then, again, once your guys are behind them like that, you just send everybody. Just like that. There you go. The F5 Bro-NATO in effect, baby. Look at it. Look at this scene. Are you kidding me? My horde rolling around, blasting my enemies to the ground on this bright green grass. It's driving me wild. That one of our guys? Oh, you're a bad guy. Okay. Then you just come in here. You just come in here and you start filling up the target dummies. That's all they are. Just a bunch of little target dummies. Remember that menu scene where the horses are running around shooting into the dummies? Same thing here. The shields can be a little annoying. Jeez, I can't even get a shot off before they melt. There's just arrows flying from everywhere. There you go, Huskarl. And here comes the reinforcements. That's what I'm talking about. Out of nowhere, the randomness of the reinforcements is wild. It's fine. We got plenty of arrows for them too. Kind of screws up the tornado though. You can reset them if you want to, but you don't need to. Just let it flow, baby. These Nord armies are just loot pinatas. Just a bunch of target dummies bringing us loot. Gotta love the Nords. So here's where I ended up in the late game, okay? This is where I finally stopped because I didn't want you guys getting all bitchy. Where's our Oklahoma video? I want another one. Another one. Huh. I love you, Oklahoma gang. But, you know, I get that fever and I get going. And so here we are. And you can just see we're rolling now, folks. One of the things I constantly see on the forums, posts, everywhere, how do you stay engaged in the late game? Well, you run around with your awesome horse archer army and you kick ass. This is my personal clan army now, up to 1122. Now that we're clan tier 6, we got everybody decked out. The castle's pumping out the guard. Those villages, remember when I told you when you first start a kingdom, don't worry about your villages getting burned, because when you first start out, that becomes the front line, but eventually you're going to push out and all the battles out here. And then guess what? This whole steppe area gets fat. 1225, 716. I mean, they're all getting huge. Another thing you can do if you really want to pump up your castle production, I don't know if you guys know this. First off, you need mods, but you can also go into manage castle and you can do drills, extra 8 XP a day. You throw a governor in here with the extra XP buffs he can give, and these guys can level up very quickly. And then you can always just fall back here to get recruits. Another thing that can make it a lot less tedious is if you're on PC and you have mods, you're going to need mods for this, but you can set up forward bases like up here at Bolgard, and you can do this with party AI controls. You could do it with improved garrisons. I don't know that it's working with the latest patch. I don't know which ones are. My party AI controls is, but I don't know about the other ones. But anyway, you take these fiefs at the edge of the empire and you just set their garrisons to make horse archers. And I just make them make standard horse archers. And you'll see right here, Saniopa, 100% horse archers. And so it will just recruit a bunch of recruits and it will convert them to horse archers. Now, you're going to pay out the ass for that. You can see I'm paying 20 grand a day in garrisons and stuff like that. But the key thing for me is I don't care because I'm making 30 and I just want to keep the momentum going. That's what wears you down in the late game. Having to come all the way back here and just to get 50 horse archers and keep it going. Another thing that's a lot of fun, and you can do this, is great for a Khuzait playthrough, an Empire, really any playthrough that you can make it work in. It just takes a little imagination and some fun. And it's a lot of fun to do is I like to create vassals. So in this campaign, the Sturgians got pushed all the way back to, they got 3 left. They've actually just taken Carbanset. They were down to 2. And so I came all the way out here to Revel during peacetime. I found, which clan was it? I think it was this one. And I found Godin and I recruited him. And not only did I recruit him, but I gave him, what's he got? He's got Tyal and Varnovapool. And eventually when I'm done using Bolgard as a forward base, I'll give him that one too. Anyway, all that to say, what's so much fun about party AI controls is that, look here. First off, I have complete control of my kingdom parties, and I showed you they bring infantry, cavalry, and horse archers, no archers. But look what I can do with my vassals. We come down here to Godin. He's my Sturgian guy. I give him a Sturgian vassal tree. All it is infantry and Drazenic champions. That's it. 70-30. And it's the same for my Nord vassal. Here he is, old Gornlatur. He got all worked up because I kicked his ass and took his fief right here at Hargard. And he really liked it. He was attached to it. So I talked to him. And he had negative, I think, 50 relations or whatever. It doesn't even matter. I still converted him because I have such high charm and so much money because I had raided his villages and stuff. He was a little worked up about it. But he got over it now, and now we're good. And then what I do is I set him to bring me, look, 100% Nordic infantry. If you look at his template, Nord Vassal right here, Huskarls, Berserkers, Skaldbrastiers, Ulfadins, it's all their infantry. Just a big old stack of Nordic infantry to come do my ladder work on my sieges that I'm hosting now so that my horse archers don't have to do it. And even now I just got Penton. You know who Penton is, right? This is the son, and then Regea screwed him out of taking over the crown. And so, yeah, he's not real happy about that. I took over Santiopa. He was even less happy. And then we talked. And now he just wants to see Regea go down before he dies, I think, is probably what he wants. And I'm happy to help him see that dream come true. So he comes in, clan tier 5, very rich. I'm giving him some towns and castles now. I just got him. And then I create for him an imperial vassal. And look, legionnaires, nates, cataphracts. That's what he's bringing me. No archers ever. And what makes it so much fun and what really makes it work is you can see I can come into options and I can prevent them from joining armies. So they don't join armies. They don't donate troops to garrison. And this is a huge thing to turn off because this is what cripples the AI is that it'll have a successful siege and then it fills it up with all its troops. The AI donating troops to garrisons needs to be turned off. And I think garrisons just need to get a basic 100, 150 dudes from the start. I think it would be better for the game. I disable his ability to join armies and donate troops. He goes and recruits until he's at max size, and then he waits for my call. Now, the other clans they have, I let them, raid villages, besiege, donate troops. I leave them as they are. But the clan leaders of my vassal factions here, they're on standby. So when I call together the great Bolden Horde, I can come down and go to cost, and you'll see, well, actually, I should just sort by men because they have a bunch of dudes. And here they are. Here's my Nord guy. Where's Penton? There he is. And this is the Great Khan's army now. It includes my 1122 and horse archers and whatever that's going to end up being in infantry and elite cavalry. That's what they're bringing to me. Now, it won't all be leveled up, but it doesn't matter because they're there to do the dirty work. And it just feels so awesome to have vassals that I can summon that have awesome troops that, I don't really have access to through the Khuzait tree. And it just feels like I'm a great Khan and I've conquered the map. And it's amazing, honestly. It makes it a lot of fun, and it makes the late game sieges awesome because you get that blend of troops. It's really fun on an Empire playthrough too, where you bring in Battanian Fians, or maybe you conquer the Valandians and you make them bring crossbows and banner knights. I mean, there's just a ton of fun ways to play it that way. There's just some wrinkles you can throw into the late game to make it a little more fun. You can kind of do it on console, but it's not going to be the same as what I'm doing here. So, sorry, console bros, that sucks. I'm pulling for you. Always loving my console bros as much as I can. But there's Penton, he shows up. We got the other guys on the way. So we'll just rewind time a little bit. And I'll show you how I went 1, 2, 3 right in a row. You just knock them down. But I'll just show you here. We'll just use this as kind of a basis to teach you how it's done. What do I tell you? No battering rams ever. And then we build trebs right there. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. Oh. Looky there. Look who it is. And this is why I brought you to this point, because we're going to do a little test here, Boklahoma gang. How do we respond to this 3,000-man army? the morons are going to say we go right at it. And we could possibly win that battle. Although, being outnumbered by 1,300, you're going to run out of arrows, which means your boys are going to take horrific casualties. On top of that, that 3,000, it's an army that big, they are geared as hell. Because even if 20% of it is upgraded troops, that first wave is going to be completely jacked. So it is going to be a horrific battle, which is not at all the way of the steppe. I mean, that whole honor system of bullshit. I'm not wasting my bros fighting some 3K army. What do I tell you? We're going to fill up our cohesion here, and then we're on the move. And we're just going to keep a close eye on it. What do I tell you? More bros. Always more bros. I'm just going to wait right here. Watch. It's slowly ticking down. Still over 700. Look how fast she's losing troops. Level 3 walls. Level 3 workshop. I mean, we're just now coming under 600, and she's already down almost, 700 troops. Let it go down. Let that garrison do their damn job. We finally got some guys here. I mean, I like to let it get comfortable. Let it get comfortable and let the sun come up. That's nice. It's nice to fight during the day. They're coming right at us, which is nice. This is what we want. So let's get our crew up there, and this is what I like to do, is let's just get our boys up here. We'll set our horse archers up here. We'll set our cav in the back. And we've got our archers up on the side here, the other set of horse archers up. And look, they're coming right at us. And when your enemy's this eager to make a mistake, let them. You want to charge into a shit ton of Khan's Guard and Nordic infantry. Look at the infantry here. And these cataphracts are very susceptible to getting blasted because we don't have that big shield. And Big Poppy's got that big pumper. There we go. Just let them come. And you can see our guys are shooting just fine, and they're shooting right into their backs. A little frustrated that I didn't get to set up, but look, you don't have to be eager to go start the tornado every time. If the enemy's going to come running at you, my God, let them. Very good. And then we're going to charge the infantry, just run them at them. And then I'm going to bring the horse archers up behind me, and we're going to sit right behind them. Watch this. You know how you love to set your archers up on a hill, but you don't have to when they're mounted. To hell with your fiends. We can shoot right over the top. We don't need the hill. And there they go. And when they run like that, now that they're turned to run, this is when we're coming out. We're going to set our warriors up, our infantry up right here. And we're going to bring everybody with me. And we're going to gun all these guys down. Where's our cav? Bring those damn archers up here that someone brought. Someone's getting their ass lit up after this. We're going to have a talk. What'd I tell you? I got one rule, no archers. And this is what I was hoping for, is that they would have to come across this field all the way. We'll just go right at them. I guess they're just coming right at us here. That works. And this is why having that infantry line can be really nice in situations like this. Mostly because I didn't get to set up my guys, and the reinforcement system is a disaster. But it's fine. You just play the battle as it comes to you. You roll with the punches. You take your lumps. What do I tell you? It's going to be fine, baby. You're doing good. Look at us. We're having a ball. The Horde's doing great. And once they get up here, we'll unleash them. I'm going to go ahead and unleash the infantry and the cavalry. We got a bunch of it. Get those guys up here. See, this is the problem. They're going to sit there in the back. And then we're going to go ahead and start the tornado, I think. There we go. There we go. And now we just charge everyone. There it is. It's beautiful, baby. See what I'm saying? Don't be too eager to do something. Let the battle come to you. In this case, they came right at us. And now it's just excellent. Look at this. And also, another thing to remember is we've only taken so many casualties, but this is a pretty big-ass army. It's going to spawn a ton of waves of reinforcement. And you can see they still have a bunch of high-level troops out here. And then when you get a nice big pile of target dummies like this, it's just the best because you can just shoot it in there. It doesn't even matter. Just shoot it in there. It's going to hit something. And even if it hits a shield, it's fine. And this is that combo I'm talking about. Look, you got the infantry hitting them, the heavy cav coming in, the horse archers up there shooting from behind. Unreal amount of damage going out from every angle. And this is it. This is the last of Regea, because the amount of nobles I'm going to take prisoner here is going to prevent her from putting another one of these 3Ks together. Plus, we're about to go on a siege spree and crush the rest of the Southern Empire. And that's the big thing. You just don't want to take so many casualties. We crushed a 3,000-man army and took under 200 casualties. So I didn't spend the strength of our whole faction taking it down. Now, it can be fun, right? If you're just trying to have fun, fighting that 3,000-man army can be good, but you're going to run out of arrows because of how heavily armored everything is. God, look at all this shit is still spawning in here, folks. It's still going. Spawning in just to run. Here comes the boys. Look at you, Oklahoma gang. My handsome guys with the masks. Aren't these Khans guards so badass? Look at this. And look at this battlefield. God, dude, I fucking love this game. Is there anything like Bannerlord? I'm a little concerned about Warhammer. I'm scared I'm not going to have that much fun playing it. I don't know. I just love Bannerlord so much. We'll see. I'm definitely going to check it out. It looks awesome. I'm excited. I've been reading about the lore and stuff, but I will always be a Banner bro. No. Don't let them get away. And this is something I'm adamant about. If they stepped on the field, no. Hell no. There we go. Look at my Nords. Good job, fellas. They love the Bobo Khan. There it is. That's how you do it, boys. Just like that every time. Weaken your enemy down, hit them while they're weak, and just crush them. Oh, look at that. What a catastrophe. What an absolute catastrophe for them. Didn't even have to spend any influence to put an army together. We're still at, look at this. We still got a huge stack of dudes ready to go. And now we're going to get to it. What I ended up doing here is I just went bam, bam, bam. And then I disbanded my armies. My northern boys went north and recruited. I gave Penton by Kaon here, and he just recruited more legionnaires. And then when I went back to McKeb, I grabbed a bunch of heavy horse archers, refilled all my parties, came back down, called everybody back down, and we got back to work. And then you're going to start knocking these down. And I can't start because I'm already getting the itch to do it. And I got to get a video out. So that's how it's done, boys.
Go now, warrior of the steppe. Let the spirit of Bobo Khan burn within you. Raise your banners, gather your horsemen, and sweep across the plains like a storm. May your quivers always be full. Your bow forever strike true, and your enemies be scattered before you. Ride with honor, conquer without mercy, for all must submit to the will of the Khan. Oklahoma out.